Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osun Decides 2026. I am Ayodeji Ajiboye.
And I am Miracle SA. And this morning we are looking at the elections that have taken place in Osun State. The election would be conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, across 30 local government areas of the Southwest state.
Plenty of conversations coming through from that place, just as we have our reporters spread across the state, bringing us updates, real-time updates from different polling units, about 3,000 polling units. Definitely, we'll be bringing you the latest update from each of these units. Don't forget that more than 2.3 million registered voters and about 1.9 million of them collected their PVCs, which means that that's about 81.50% PVC collection rate across the 30 local government in Osun State. And the big battle between the 14 candidates jostling for the seat at the government house in Osun.
And these and many more we will be bringing you up to speed about. But let us look at some of the things that, like you rightly said, about 2.3 million people registered for this election, but about 1.9 million people were able to get their PVC. That is such a margin there, looking at how many persons registered and how many persons even went to get the PVC. I mean, just like I earlier heard somebody say that so many persons collect their PVCs for different reasons. Some just collect it as a form of identification, or some persons want to go to the bank, they want to travel out, they just want to know that, oh, I do have a PVC. But this shows what is currently happening, how persons and people in Nigeria, how they feel towards elections.
Yeah, truth be told, it's not really something that is so good to talk about when you see the rate at which people register for elections, and then after registering, I then feel like you're being forced to come out and get your PVCs. It's not even about getting the PVCs. Some of them, just like you mentioned, they get these PVCs, and election days, they are not even around. I've seen a couple of updates the other time when it's been said that a lot of persons are traveling out of the state as at yesterday. For different reasons, but some of them are also mentioning that the threat, the security threat is one of the reasons why they are leaving the state at that time. And I can be rest assured that most of these people that are traveling out of the state also have their PVCs. And looking at the number of accredited voters, you can tell that they will be missing from that particularly. So different factors contributing to the list of people who are not going to be voting during the election. And if you take a look at Osun State in the last couple of years as well, it can be said that there's been a bit of an increase in the number of people that have been registering for the election and have been taking part in the elections, taken into context from, let's say, from 2014, it's been a bit of upward trend up until 2022. Because I remember that from 2014 to 2018, it's about 19.2% increase. And from 2018 to 2022, it's about 8.7%. And 2022 to this time is about 19.6%. That's talking about the registration trend. So the voters population continues to increase between 2014 to this time, and if you take a look into it in totality, that's about 66.3% increase from 2014 to 2026, and that will now have about 1.9 million persons that will be voting. If I'm getting it correctly, in 2014 it was about 1.6 million persons that registered to vote in Osun State in 2014. So yeah, it's a good increase, but it's just that this increment also has to show forth during the voting period, because for any governor to be announced as a winner in this Osun State election, has to win about 25 of the 30 local governments. That's about 1/4 of the total local government.
And just like you rightly said, there are some factors that are contributing to the reason why some of the citizens in Osun State have been traveling out. And some persons are worried, some persons are scared. We are underlining violence. I mean, I saw a video of a girl saying that she's scared. You know, all the things happening with election. Well, she can share her point, can share her view, being scared, being worried, because most times what we see in Nigeria is that we see post-election videos, we see a ballot box snatching and different things. So people being scared, people being afraid, worried for their lives can contribute to the reason why, like you said, people have left Osun State. But going forward, moving forward, if people do not turn out to vote, how would their preferred candidates emerge as winner? And they are basically leaving the choice of their leaders decided. They're leaving the choice at the hands of other people to go and decide. True. You want somebody to lead you. You want somebody to direct you in the path for the next 4 years. Yeah. 4 years is not just 4 days. It's not just 4 weeks. 4 years we're talking about. We're talking about economy reforms in the next 4 years, and you're leaving that to be decided by other people. I do think that we should come to a point that we would be able to tell ourselves that we would go and put our thumbprint down no matter what happens.
I tell you, these people, they know this thing, but another reason, just like you also mentioned, is the fact that they are being scared of going out to vote. And if I check it correctly, I think that this particular election in Osun State, there are about 15,000, security agencies that have been deployed to the state, and out of that, you have like 30 commissioners of police. You have one, Assistant Inspector General. All of these persons being deployed just for the sake of this election. And it's not just the police. You have the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, the NSCDC, and other security architectures that have been deployed just to make sure that the election goes on free, fair, and also possibly, just to make sure that people are allowed to exercise their franchise during this particular period. But then the fact that people are, shying away, they get their PVCs, they don't go out to, to vote. All of these things, if you take a look into the context, it brings a big dent on what democracy really means. Because if you take a look at it, democracy is supposed to be, the government of the people, by the people.
For the people,
but then if you are not going out to vote, it means that you are not exercising that right that you have, and it's something that people need to be, enlightened and also educated about. That yes, the power to elect a new governor, a new representative is in your hands, and you have to use it through the, through your PVC. It's not just for decoration or just for keeping in your wallets on what have you.
Okay, so now we will be looking at some of the statistics here. We have a couple of people who registered. We have students at about 32.2%. That's over 752,000, and we have traders at 20.7%, and that is over 483,000. We have artisans at 13.7%, and that's 320,000. We have business people at 32. That's 11.3%. I beg your pardon. That's over 265,000 people. We have farmers and fishermen at 8.0%. We have other people at 6.5%. We have civil servants at 4.9%. We have public servants at 2.1%. We have this made me chuckle. Housewife at 0 points.
The fact that you're chuckling at housewives, it means a lot, really.
Why would you say that?
But then you cannot write them off. Because I want to believe that some of these housewives, you can as well categorize them under the traders too, because you have most of them that are doing one or two businesses.
Exactly. That was why I chuckled. Housewives, they easily could also be doing other things on the side. It could be business women and traders. But why categorize them as housewives?
Well, the fact that they are
specifically,
because for real, some of them might just be there, being in the house full time, and they know that this is what they do. But I'd like to come to the context of this election.
Okay,
The
okay.
fact that there are about 13,000 of them and with 0.6% doesn't really mean that you are going to write them off totally.
At all,
Because if you take a look at it, during the campaign period, these are the persons that will be in different campaigns. AAC is campaigning, you find them there. The other parties are campaigning, you find them there. They take all the things that come along with all of these campaigns. Their number might be very low, but they are very much, each participant in the electoral process.
So I think what you're trying to say is that behind every successful man there is a woman. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm also talking about the huge number of students in Osun State. I think this 32.2%, about 752 students. And another thing we should take into cognizance the fact that schools are actually running right now in Osun State. And the fact that schools are running, you have about 10 universities in Osun State, if I'm not mistaken. There's the Bowen University, there's the Alike University, all of these universities are right there. And then there's the second best university in Nigeria, just after University of Ilorin. No, I'm talking about OAU now.
There's OAU, there's also Uni Osun there. OAU does have a reputation.
Just after University of Ilorin anyways. And then you have the other school in...
I think you're biased. Well, let's move on.
Okay. About 32.2% of them, which means that they'll also be a very determining factor in what the outcome of this election is going to be. We talked about the traders with 20.7%.
And just before we move towards the traders, I think it's a welcome development that we see that young people are now interested in politics. Sometime in Nigeria, young people didn't used to be interested in politics. You just sit down and say it's all people's thing. But looking at this statistic now, 32.2% students have. Wow, it is very applaudable, I must say, and that means that indeed, like that saying that the young people are the leaders of tomorrow. That means we do have hope for the leaders of tomorrow.
And I know that it's good that these persons are there. Another one I would like us to take a look at is the civil service.
Okay.
But before we do that, I would like to get in touch with the African Action Congress governorship candidate for this election, Olajide Osun, who definitely exercised his franchise, and would like to hear from him his impression and also his thoughts on the ongoing gubernatorial elections right there in Osun State. Good morning to you, Olajide Osun.
Good morning to you, Olajide Osun.
Yeah, good.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Let's quickly take your immediate reaction after the election. You have just cast your vote, if I'm right, and what is going through your mind at this moment? Olajide, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
I believe that this is the right time for. Yeah, I can hear you. I believe that this is the right time for some people to take governance back to themselves, because leadership hasn't really been. I mean, the governance in Osun State hasn't really been about genuine leadership, which the African Action Congress has come to bring to Osun people. So I'm here to make sure that I bring the great leadership and the leadership that transforms life, that transforms mind, that improves the quality of life. And the voting activities is still going on here in Osun State, in Ejigbo local government, where I've just cast my vote. So I'm happy to have done that.
Okay, so with what you have seen so far, what is your general idea about how INEC has conducted these elections?
Thank you. Based on what has happened here so far, it's been good. The process has been going smoothly. There hasn't been any challenge.
Olajide, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Do you just said that based on what you've seen that it's been smooth so far, and do you think that INEC can provide a free and fair and credible election?
Based on what has happened so far at this polling unit, it's been good. I have no idea what has been happening. Although something happened today, and Modakeke, where some of policemen parted away some of the election materials where voters were tear gassed. So, and I
Really?
keep up based on the fact that the voting activities are still going on. I wouldn't just say that INEC is doing well or they are performing excellently, but based on this polling unit, it's been going smoothly. That is what I can say. But based on saying that if INEC has been conducting this election well, I wouldn't want to say much about that. Let's just see how it goes
Okay.
till
But
like
then, do you
4, 3,
do you
4
have any
p.m.
concern whatsoever? Do you have any concern whatsoever?
Yeah, like I've said, some of our concern is what has happened in Modakeke today, where election material were carted away by police officers this morning. So, and those voters there are already enfranchised, and that is what is going on in Osun State.
Okay.
Okay, now Olajide, what do you think your parties have any chance? What are the chances so far?
Yeah.
Can you?
We're still with you, Olajide. I think the restriction is trying to come in between us right there, and we're looking to feel the pulse of the African Action Congress candidate Olajide Osun, who has definitely casted his vote. But then he came up with a bit of concern, talking about policemen cutting away with electoral materials in Modakeke. Okay, saying that the policemen cutted away with electoral materials in Modakeke, disenfranchising people of that particular location. I think that's something of particular interest if you take a look at it keenly.
Just like you said, it's something of particular interest, it's something of concern. Now, we just heard him say policemen. We didn't even hear thugs. We're hearing policemen. I mean, the people who are supposed to protect
it,
lives, and even I honestly don't even have what to say right now, because we've had thugs. Thugs have carted away with ballot boxes, but we are hearing policemen at this point in Modakeke. What exactly is happening?
Honestly, a lot of questions that needs to be answered in that, because they've taken it away from Modakeke. Where did they take it to?
Exactly.
Where is it going to?
What is going to happen afterwards?
Because if you ask me now, I feel like this is some form of a leakage, because this is electoral material that people are supposed to put their thumb on. So where is it at this particular point in time? A big question that needs to be answered to. Why we still wait for Olajide to possibly join? Okay, Olajide, thank you for joining us back.
Thank you for joining us back.
Are you there?
Thank you. I can hear you.
Okay, so let me quickly ask you this now. In your own view, what do you think separates your candidacy from the other major contenders in this election?
Yeah, what separates my own candidacy is that I'm here to liberate the people, to liberate their mind, and to add values and meanings to Osun people's life, and not to take advantage of them or to subjugate them like they've been experiencing from career politicians and their parties. Because I do say that these political parties represent different roads that lead to the same roundabout that Nigeria has been since 1999. So AAC political party is here to liberate the people of Osun State and give governance back to them.
Okay, now you talked about Osun people. We saw videos of some persons not trusting the electoral process. What message do you have for them at this point?
What message do I have for?
I mean,
the people of Osun.
Osun State not trusting the electoral process.
Yeah, because the issue of trusting the electoral process has has to do with the leadership of INEC, because I've been saying that when the leadership of INEC has affiliation or is being appointed by certain political party's leadership. So there is no how, there's no that there will be a genuine, uh, you know, interest in putting the people's interest up first. That there wouldn't be, you know, there wouldn't be proper commitment, in making sure that we actually give governance back to the people. And that is what we have been experiencing in Nigeria. As I've said, leadership of INEC doesn't have to be based on one political party's interest, or it doesn't have to be one political party's or one political leadership's appointee. So that is what I can say on that.
Let's talk about your strongest support in this election. Where do you think it's coming from?
It's coming from the youth, because
Okay.
our plans and programs are more focused on the youth, because we want to give governance back to the people and to make our youth resourceful. Because a leader who doesn't take the life of the youth seriously is setting the society up, is setting the society on implosion. And like we have been experiencing on the issue of security and all that, because of the fact that most of our youth are jobless, they are not engaged. And that is what has been going on.
Okay, you just talked about most of the youths being jobless. So, if elected as the governor of Osun State, now what is your economic blueprint for creating sustainable jobs beyond campaigns, promises, and all of that?
First of all, we have what we call a resident database, because we need to start with things that are foundational. Because the system we are running in this country is a faulty foundation that nothing tangible can be built upon. So we want to be, we are creating a resident database, and also Osun financial dashboard, which will give the Osun people the opportunity to know about the government spending, so that they can be able to track and monitor government spending. And that is, if their money misses, they can question the leadership or the governor that where is our money. We have what we call Ministry of Citizens Rights, Workers Protection and Compensation. But the one that has to do with the economy, we have what we call a tri-hub industrial ecosystem that has to do with Osun IT Tech Hub, Osun IT Tech Hub, Osun Automobile Village, and Osun Automobile Village, Osun Credit Union Bank, that we are bringing to Osun State, so that we can be able to give support to our youth, so that they can be engaged the right way. And apart from that, we have what we call industrial estate that we are bringing to Osun State, which will be sited at certain strategic locations in Osun State. We also have what we call Osun Investment Bank, which will be used to be making a strategic investment on behalf of the state, because we can't be building a sustenance on federal allocation. We want to make sure that we can be able to be in charge and build a different economy for Osun people.
All right, so now let's talk about our peace and some form of credibility in this election now. So since we already talked about the different things happening in different election centers, from the polling unit to the wards, what is your appeal to your supporters as the voting continues?
Although there's always been the issue of voters' inducements, and that has been going on because of the information available to us now, is that certain political parties are paying about 10,000 naira, while some are paying about 15,000 naira among the noise maker political parties. And they know it has been like taking advantage of a system problem, the issue of hunger, which has been weaponized, the issue of poverty. But the thing is that we are still making sure that a lot of people are supporting us, because we believe that it's the truth that can move our society forward. Set our society on the right direction. So, but that has been the issue here. There has been the issue of inducement among the others. Regular political parties who are running governance like business or like personal business in Osun State.
Okay. Critics often argue that smaller parties excel at criticism but struggle with governance and when giving the opportunity. They also highlight experience in some of these cases. And now, what do you have to say to this?
Thank you. The issue of experience in the Nigeria kind of leadership is illusion. Even the issue of choice is illusion because what we call what has to do with experience in Nigeria is nepotism and corruption, which is not really about the service to people to the people. So for us, most of the people they say they assume to be young people who have participated, who have contested. A lot of them have some kind of agreements with godfathers in their political parties, which AAC as a political party doesn't have, because our own is strictly about leadership, not for business as usual.
Okay, okay. Education has historically been one of Osun's strongest sectors, yet concerns remain over infrastructure, teacher welfare, and learning outcomes. What reforms would you prioritize if elected?
What is it? Can you say that again?
Now we are looking
Yeah,
at
what I
the education
prioritize is,
sector.
first of all, give.
Okay.
Okay, I'm interested in giving governance back to the people, to make governance participatory for Osun people, which has in the kind of leadership and governance that hasn't been anywhere in Nigeria. Anything that has to do with leadership has to do with the management of existing problem and also taking advantage of existing problems. Because I do say that in Nigeria, we don't solve problems, we manage them. And that is what has been happening. Our leaders are not intended to solve our problems, but to keep on managing them so that they can keep on taking advantage of the existing problem and be able to add more to them. And that's it.
Okay,
That is why I'm interested in giving governance back to the people and making government.
So because of our time, we know that you have a lot of places to touch this morning, afternoon as well. So let me quickly ask you this before we let you go. If you win tonight, what is your first message to those who are, your supporters right there in Osun State? Olajide, are you with us? Okay, that's Olajide Osun, the African Action Congress governorship candidate in Osun. He talked to us right from his polling unit. You also mentioned a couple of things happening in part of the state. That's talking about Modakeke, one of the places you say are go-tos when it comes to election in Osun State. And that's not all. You also mentioned about reports coming through that there's been cash exchange, 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira. And I know that this thing has been brewing even right before the election started. But the fact that we are still hearing it from him this morning means that this is a pressing issue that needs to be looked into during this ongoing election in Osun State.
I mean, just like you said, it is a pressing issue that needs to be looked into, because just the other day we saw videos of some women, some citizens of
cash and
cash and salt as low as 1,000 naira and sachet of salt. I mean, just now we are also hearing from him, the AAC governorship candidate in Osun State, that is also being some exchange. This is something that has to be looked into. And not just because it is Osun State, because Osun State is like a litmus test for the 2027 general elections.
It is one of the biggest fears, and even today now that it's still meant at this amount, we're looking forward to see, possibly we'll still be getting more reports before the end of the election process, whether or not the price or the amount could possibly be increasing before the end of the election. Today, plenty of conversations coming through from the election center right there in Osun State. Don't forget that we have about 14 parties jostling for the seat of power in Osun State. There's the All Progressive Congress, there's the Accord Party, there's the African Action Congress, you have the Action Democratic Party, you also have the African Democratic Congress, the Accord Alliance, the All Progressive Grand Alliance, just to name a few of these parties who are looking to get into the seat of power right there in Osun State.
Okay, we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll bring you up to speed with some of the reactions of people, the electorate there in Osun State. Do stay with us.
Okay.
As the people were complaining about the slow of the network of beavers, what can you say about it?
I think it is deplorable to experience that the beavers is the beavers is very bad in the polling booth where the governor is voting, where we have a crowd like this, which is not common in Osun State. As you can observe, you can see yourself. I doubt the credibility of INEC. It is deplorable.
You say due to the fact that the governor came from this side, that is why the
because the governor come inside, this polling booth is always like this. From this compound, this is my home, this is my compound, and this is where I used to vote. I come specially for this election from Ivory Coast, where I experience what they are calling vote, comparing to what I'm seeing. I always see in Nigeria.
So, is there anything of like intimidation or anything?
There is nothing like intimidation. I can assure you that there can never be something like intimidation here in Inabugude.
So, what is your advice to the INEC?
I think the INEC have to be fair and have the well-trained personalities, and even check well their devices that they are using, the materials that they are using, which is very important. It is very important for the beavers to be just be like that in a polling booth where the crowd is like this.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
My name is Alhaji Chief Olaboye Mudashir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Ibi ẹ bá ní kẹ́ ẹ dìbò sí ńbẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá pàdé orí lógò tẹ́ ẹ dìbò sí olóńlọ ẹgbẹ́ ti yé ṣùgbọ́n tá a ti lè dìbò síbì kan tẹ́ wá padà kájú ẹ̀dẹ̀ báyìí fọ́ìdì ni o láwọn ìgbà kò jẹ́ o ẹgbẹ́ ti yé pàdé báyìí tán ó wá lè kakò báyìí ó kakò báyìí kó jù sí ṣùgbọ́n fọ́ọ̀sì ó ní pé kẹ́ ẹ kọ́kọ́ pàdé mọ́ra wọn báyìí.
Orúkọ mi ni Ọláníyàn Dàdàtọ̀ tí mo jẹ́ ìfẹ́ nínú ara wọn tí ó fẹ́ dìbò ní alájọ wa wọn fún ọ̀gbìn district. So àwọn bíbá tí wọ́n fún wa ó sùn díẹ̀ fásitì dáadáa. Àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan sọ yí wọ́n lẹ̀ tí ò gbójú wọn tó bá tó wá yá adọ́wàsí wá gbà padà.
Ǹjẹ́ kò sí mọ̀wúrú kankan bí báyà?
Kò sí mọ̀wúrú ọjà wọn.
Nítorí kan ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé ó slow. Kí lẹ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC?
Dàgbà fẹ́ sọ fún INEC pé kí wọ́n jọ wọ́n dàpọ̀ àwọn ìyá ọjọ́ ìdí darúgbó tàbí àwọn tí wò mọ ibi tí wọ́n ní fẹ́ẹ́ tẹ̀ka sí kí wọ́n máa gba láì tí wọ́n bá ti jọ pé òkè ẹni báyìí o dàbí ní kọ́ bá jọ ọmọ mi ni o àbúrò mi ni mo mú wá wọ́n yìí kí wọ́n bá gbà láìjẹ́ kí wọ́n máa.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kí lórúkọ yín?
Orúkọ mi ni Ọláníyàn Dàdàtọ̀ alájọ wa fún ọdún 6.
Àròyé ẹsẹ̀ ilé.
Kí lẹ wá fẹ́ kọ́ ṣe fún yín? Kí ló dé aago mélòó lẹ ti dé bí báyìí?
Aago mẹ́fà mo ti dé bí.
Kí ló wá dé tí wọ́n dá yín lò?
Mo ọ̀dà lónìí àní alára jẹ́ àwàmí ọ̀dà wò.
Kí lẹ wá fẹ́ kọ́ ṣe fún yín?
Wọ́n dá lónìí náà ní. Wọ́n dá lónìí náà ní. Òtítà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe kí wọ́n dá lónìí náà ní.
Can you explain what happened? Why were you delayed here?
We came here to cast our vote.
What time did you? What time?
We came here around 7:30. And the protocol of the national election, elderly person, should be first of all allowed to be cast their vote before anybody else. To our own surprise, nobody has ever come here to attend to us. So we have been sitting at the community suspects.
What really happened? Did they explain to you what happened?
Whenever they come, we tell them that they are wasting our own time. Because we are not elderly people, we cannot just be sitting, we cannot just be wasting our own time. So that's
Once again, what is your name, sir?
I said my name is Wari.
All right, thank you.
Calling the Inspector General of Police to take note. I'm calling all the security agencies to take note. They should deploy him. We don't want him in Osun. We don't want violence in Osun. All we want is free and fair election so that people can perform their civic duty. That's one. And two, the pattern of voting should be from units to ward and to local government. Not that they will take local government connection straight to state capital. That is not acceptable. That's a form of rigging. And I heard it on the authority that the APC have, trying to rig and have some fake ballot papers. I want Osun people to watch out for that. And then we don't accept. Well, I will not accept that in Osun. Right now, as I'm voting right now, I just received a call in Modakeke and Obagu that police is aiding them to tear gas them so that people can run away. And people are resolute. They just want to perform their civic duty. Let the security agency please be neutral and watch it. But I can assure you, at the end of the day, I have God on my side and I have my people on my side.
Your Excellency, sir, you have just voted. The process has just begun. Yeah. What's your assessment of what you've seen?
I've already told you, so far so good. It's been peaceful. In my area here, I hope things like that goes across. But it's not peaceful in Modakeke and of course in Obagu. The police are aiding the APC to tear gas people so that they will not vote. The thugs took the ballot box and ran away. So we have already reported this to the security agencies. I hope they do something so that they will not turn Osun State into war zone.
Thank you so much.
I beg, who owns this mic? Who
to take note. You cannot have bad. To take note. They should deploy it.
Many thanks for staying with us. So Osun decides 2026, and we're taking report as well as taking a look at the situation happening right there. Don't forget that the election process, the accreditation, and people have started thumbing their vote from 8:30, and they said that the election will be closing at about 2:30. So anyone that doesn't get on the queue before 2:30 most definitely will no longer be voting. 30 local government areas, 332 wards, about 3,763 polling units, and of course, 2 million, over 2 million accredited voters, registered voters for this particular election, but 1.9 million of them got their permanent voters card. And that is not just it. Historically, it's been said that the election in Osun State is one of the most unique elections because it usually does not just go in a straightforward election. Yeah, it's an off-cycle one, and most times it ends with litigations left, right, and center.
And just before the litigation, I just want to go back to say something that even though the election is supposed to end by 2:30, if there are still voters on the queue, they will still be allowed to vote. Back to the off-cycle. You said elections at Osun State is quite unique.
Unique, very.
Very, very, very true. They've had quite a different cycle from the normal governorship election, and they are not the only ones. Actually, we have states like Anambra State too. We even saw Ekiti State in June, and now we are seeing Osun now. I think apart from the 1999 elections, I think they've always been going to court. There's always post-election litigation. They are always contesting, I don't think this person is the rightful winner. When the winners be announced, they're always going back. And it's always a tussle back and forth. Then the court will say, oh, this person is now the winner. Then everybody rests and accepts the person. So now we're seeing that. Is this going to happen again? Are we going to see another post-election litigation? Are they taking it to court again to contest? It's becoming
just like you rightly mentioned. Let's hope that we will be having some form of election like the 1999 one, and just like the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC has promised that it's going to be free, fair, and credible. So if it does have all of these three things, then there's no point, dragging it to court. Let's hope that things happen the way the electorate are looking forward to it to happen.
And just before we go on that short break, I also want us to look at the women in the election. I mean, we've had, out of the 28 candidates, we have just about 4 women so far, and just 1 woman is contesting for the seat of the governor. That is Yemisi. That is to say how I'm a woman, and I don't want to be biased. That is to say how much women have been underrepresented. 28 candidates so far, just 4 women. 1 person is contesting for the governorship election, and the other 3 are a deputy. That goes to show the pattern generally, even in Nigeria, in the politics. We've never really had a woman elected as the governor. We just had one time Virginia Etiaba, and that was in Anambra State. She wasn't even elected. It was at the time where Peter Obi was impeached, and she just, because she was a deputy governor at the time. We want more women. We want more women. We want to see more women being represented.
It's good to advocate for something like that. I know that during the admission of the former president, the late President Muhammadu Buhari, there was also this talks about having more women being involved in politics, and then there was if you take a look at the president's cabinet, then you find out that most of the ministries, departments, and agencies are mostly being headed by women at that time, which means that they are looking to also give them, give women a chance to also play a huge part in Nigerian politics, and also the decisive moments too. But then talk about women who are coming into power. Remember that there's a woman then Patricia Olubunmi Ete, who also held a position. Then I'm trying to figure out but the name is definitely ringing in my head right now. We know that we usually have the women's coming, but the percentage, I think the percentage what you're trying to talk about now, that is very low, which means that we also need to should we say sensitize them now on the need for them to also want to step into these principal positions. It's not just enough to clamor for it, advocate for it. They also need to show it forth to also want to be there.
I do think that women have been showing interest, that they are interested in these things. It's just that, just like I had some people talk one time, and they were like, "Oh, we do not want to give women that much power to be able to rule us." And so I think it is just that they do not really trust women to be able to govern or lead.
Well, another thing that you need to think about is, I'm not trying to be, sentimental now, but then most people believe that sometimes women are driven by emotions a whole lot. They are not usually, grounded in their thoughts and ideas, so which means that sometimes they are easily, dilly-dallying in some sort of way. So yes, I think that might be one of the most important thing to look at in that particular one. Let's move away from that now. Most definitely, we have reactions coming through from our correspondents who are definitely in different election centers, in different polling units, taking a look at the happenings right there in Osun State. Most definitely, they are bringing us our update from there. The Shegun Oluwole will definitely still be joining us in the course of the show this afternoon to tell us about some of the happenings right there. We'll be feeling the pulse of the electorate right there in Osun State.
As the people were complaining about the slow of the network of beavers, what can you say about it?
I think it is deplorable to experience that the beavers is the beavers is very, very bad in the polling booth where the governor is voting. Here we have a crowd like this, which is not common in Osun State. As you can observe, you can see yourself. I doubt the credibility of INEC. It is deplorable.
You say due to the fact that the governor came from this side, that is why the
not because the governor come inside. This polling booth is always like this. I'm from this compound. This is my home. This is my compound, and this is where I used to vote. I come specially for this election from Ivory Coast, where I experience of what they are calling vote, comparing to what I'm seeing. I always to see in Nigeria.
So, is there anything of like intimidation or anything?
There is nothing like intimidation. I can assure you that there can never be something like intimidation here in Inabugude.
So, what is your advice to the INEC?
I think the INEC have to be fair and have the well-trained personalities, and even check well their devices that they are using, the materials that they are using, which is very, very important. It is very, very important for the beavers to be just be like that in a polling booth where the crowd is like this.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
My name is Alhaji Chief Olaboye Mudashir.
All right, thank you, sir. All right.
orúkọ mi ni ọládìyàn dàda tọ̀sí tí mo jẹ́ ìfẹ́ nínú ara wọn tí ó fẹ́ dìbò ní alájọba wọn fún ọdún 6. So àwọn bíbá tí wọ́n fún wa sùn díẹ̀ fásitì lè kú fásitì dáadáa àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan tó sọjú wọn lẹ̀ tí ò gbójú wọn tó bá tó wá yá aláwọ̀ àṣẹ wá gbà padà
ǹjẹ́ kò sí mọ̀wúrú kankan ní ìbáyà mi?
kò sí mọ̀wúrú ọjà wọn.
Nítorí kan ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé ó slow. Kí lẹ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC?
fún dàgbà fẹ́ sọ fún INEC pé kí wọ́n jọ wọ́n dàpọ̀ àwọn ìyá ọjọ́ ẹni darúgbó tàbí àwọn tí wò mọ ibi tí wọ́n ní bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ̀ka sí kí wọ́n máa gba láì tí wọ́n bá ti jọ pé òkè ẹni báyìí o dàbí ní kọ́ bá jọ ọmọ mi ni o àbúrò mi ni mo mú wá o kọ́ bá gbà láàyè láìjẹ́ kí wọ́n máa.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kí lórúkọ yín?
Orúkọ mi ni Ọlánìyàn Dàda Fàtí alájẹ wa from the city.
Can you explain what happened? Why were you delayed here?
We came here to cast our vote.
What time? What time?
We were here around 7:30. And the protocol of the INEC said the elderly of money. So the first was all allowed to be cast their vote before anybody else. To our own surprise, nobody has ever come here to attend to us. So we have been sitting at the suspects.
What really happened? Did they explain to you what happened?
Whenever they come, we tell them that they are wasting our own time. Because we are not elderly people, we cannot just be sitting, we cannot just be wasting our own time. So that's
Once again, what is your name, sir?
I said my name is Buhari.
All right, thank you.
This year, last year, I can't remember, 70th. Felt exciting, but still not rest at the same time because all these election stuff like that and the news I heard about it, so and violence every single time. So all these stuff like I don't know how to put it, but it's something that everybody knows about. This is the first time that it's my grandma. Surely she will have
Oh, why you put it?
no, I can't say it.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Osun Decides 2026, and we're taking a look at the ongoing election process right there in Osun State across the 30 local government area. Different conversations right now, from the beavers to the large turnout of voters to the cutting away of electoral materials in different centers, and also to the alleged vote buying situations that we've been hearing from different centers. And most importantly, there's also the talks about underage voters are participating in this ongoing election in Osun State. We'll be taking a look at all of this and many more in the course of the conversation this afternoon. Thank you so much, Kunle Adegboyega, for joining us on the show this afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good
Kehinde
afternoon.
Adegboyega, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you join us. So we just saw videos of underage voters, and we've been hearing this. We've been hearing about this in up north, but we are seeing this now in the west. What does this imply?
Well, this is really a major concern, and sincerely speaking, the umpire, the electoral umpire that's supposed to do something about that. That's INEC, and it's concerning that we continue to have this issue and in this election. It seems we are so desperate. We have rules. Every game has a rule. Every electoral process has a rule. And the rule says underage voters cannot vote. Until they are 18, they cannot vote. It's surprising that even party agents are there, likely encouraging it. The police are likely at those polling units, police and other security units are there, and they are looking away. And it's so unfortunate, but we cannot continue like this for this. And we want to even ask, how did they get the PVC out in the first instance? How did they are supposed to show up to that venue with a PVC? How did they get the PVC? Are we saying that some at the stage our electoral process has been compromised? Are we saying that some people are already illegally acquiring PVC? If we are having young people that are underage already getting PVC, are we saying that people there is a lot of it also comes to the integrity of the information of the data, because in every election, like any even our censor, the integrity of the information makes it credible. So that means the moment there is compromise, we are now seeing underage people getting PVC. That means it's possible that it's just an opinion. It's possible that we will get a lot of people, maybe people that are already late, their PVC are likely going to be used in this election. Yeah, because
the fact that one of them mentioned that she was born in February 2009, another one said 2008 October, so that's like 17 and 9 months or so.
To be 18 years exactly.
So how did they get? Because usually the usual process is that there will be some form of certificate that identify when you were born. And that certificate will be verified, except we are saying that even the stage of the process of getting that certificate has been compromised too. Maybe we don't really have a means of identification or verification of the date of birth of every citizen. And we are not just talking about the underage persons voting now. We are talking about every citizen. What is the recognized legal means of identifying or knowing our date of birth
in Nigeria? I mean, was a couple of days ago, we were also hearing that the Nigerian database of the birth and also the death rates, that there's a bit of discrepancy in it, and like 40% of it are not even genuine as we speak.
So that's so unfortunate. With all the funding, you'll be shocked that a lot of funding are being defended by MDAs on trying to ensure that we have credible information on this database. We have the NIM. For now, according to there is a new NIMSI Act, even though there are still a new reviewed NIMSI Act, even though they are still hiding it, it has been gazetted. It's yet to be gazetted. It's still with the presidency. It has been passed since June. That is our first major means of identification in NIMSI Act. That's NIM and all those now. We don't even know what has been reviewed in that important policy because, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, no civil society was engaged in reviewing in the passage of that. No public hearing on that NIMSI Act on the identified. But we know as of now, and if you Google information about the NIMSI Act, we know that it has been passed. It's with the presidency since June, but it has not been gazetted. There is no official copy, official copy. What we are just seeing is some on site, and maybe some bloggers try to review, quote some people, and other. There is no official copy that we can say this is the copy of this important law that is going to influence, determine, and also regulate issues about identity in Nigeria.
I mean, just to bring that out very well, according to the National Population Commission, they said that only about 40% of births are currently registered. 40%. Which is such a low number. But let's go back to the election happening in Osun State right about now. We've seen a couple of updates flying through, most especially from our correspondent right on ground. I'd like to hear your, feel your pulse about what do you think the election, do you think it's going in a way that INEC has said it to be free, fair, and credible?
Well, we can only rely on information that we are getting from the field. We are not in Osun. But I want to make comment on the pre-election threat that we have been seeing. This and I'm really concerned. Like I've been talking to colleagues, I'm really concerned. We're having a general election, a major election. This is an off-cycle election. It's like a litmus test for what will happen in the 2020. I'm really concerned for safety. That if our politicians are so desperate, and we are seeing videos of a present, not an elected official, threatening, putting out threats, and even though they are saying, "Oh, it's AI," that is an amateur video. You can't. We know. It's also even funny that people can now lie. And we have seen several cases where people are lying that it's AI generator because they are even lying on AI that
AI will come out and talk.
But we know that AI generated misinformation, fake news is an issue that we have to deal with. But in this case, it's an amateur video. If you analyze that video, that person said that, and the concern, and even a lot of international organizations and Amnesty are taking the case of, but it's a concern that the audacity, and we do understand, we cannot even forget what happened in the last election, 2023. We know what the threats that went out, especially in Lagos, how people were profiled, the same thing, and I'm concerned what is going to happen if the government cannot guarantee safety of its people, because that is the most important thing. And they will generally say, oh, people don't want to come out to vote, people don't want to call their PVC, but for crying out loud, why am I going to participate in a process that put my life at risk?
If the senator is even trying to incite genocide of some sort.
It's a serious, like, it's giving directive, like shoot on sight, like he's making himself the government, the legislature, the government, the judiciary, by saying like it's a command, a legislature for that matter, that is supposed to be putting check and balance on the executive. A lot of misuse of power, a lot of abnormalities, and sincerely speaking, sometimes when people say we run an animal kingdom, or what do they call it, I begin to say maybe possibly they have a point, because this is should not happen in a democracy. Why are we so desperate because we want to retain that position by force and power? Be open, holding threats to life. And we know what has happened. People have died. It's not just threats. These threats are not like people are just making comments. We know what has happened in Osun. But we cannot, just what we cannot confirm is how many people have been killed.
We saw the story of the 12-year-old boy that was shot even inside his mother's shop pre-election.
So you see out this threat, just they will say it's just threat. They are coming out to.
All right, talking about security now. Before you joined us on the show, we spoke to the AAC candidates, the governorship candidates there in Osun State, and there was something notable that he said. He said that at Modakeke, that some policemen have carted away with election materials. Now, this is very concerning. How would you assess these police people who are supposed to be protecting these materials?
Well, I have personally even been part of some election, and also been a voter. Unfortunately, the security agencies that we have now, because the security agency, they perform a very serious part in our democratic process. Even beyond the election, we notice that it seems our security agent can be bought. It's the highest bidder. It's the highest bidder. And I'll make example in an area that I sleep over every day. As even around press freedom. In as much as the state or non-state actors can fund the state security, and we have seen this severally. They don't need a court order. They will. So I'm not surprised with what is happening. It's not a new incident. We have seen cases where verified cases where even in very poor security areas it did not, where the military is alleged or the police is alleged to be protecting the people that are attacking civilians. So I'm not surprised that this is happening during the election.
But what do you think this will mean for this election now? Because the number one question is, where are these materials taken to? Are they being returned to possibly the collation center ahead of time, or are they just being kept somewhere that we say maybe is safe, or they are somewhere where they are possibly, printing thumbs on it?
And just after what you said, the elections were still going on when these people carted away with these materials.
So usually we have talks, I'm ashamed of this because this is an international platform. We have international audience, but we can't deny it. This is what is happening. But now we are now seeing recorded evidence of saying police has also been involved.
I mean, even the governor of the state, Ademola Adeleke, also mentioned it during his press.
So we have seen several cases, even not just talks, some politicians and even local government chairman and all those participate in this ballot snatching. But it's the people that are led to have snatched in this case that can tell us where they are taking those things to, where it will end. And seriously, it's concerning for the credibility of that election.
Okay, we still have Kende Adegboyega with us on the show this morning, Executive Director of the Human Rights Journalist Network Nigeria. Of course, based on your portfolio, we've just been seeing a couple of videos, especially of votes buying, because there's said to be about 50-year-old woman who checked for over an hour just to go and vote, and then in her words she said she was being given 10,000 naira to do that. That's the vote buying we're talking about. And I saw a video not quite long where some of the electorate, the voters, were challenging journalists for not to cover the election in that particular polling unit. What do you say to this? I mean, the citizens saying that journalists don't cover election. Some citizens coming out to say that, look here, I've been given money to vote.
Let me start from this premise. Poverty has been institutionalized by this present government. That is a major issue we need to deal with. So they've inflicted man-made poverty into the system to the extent that no matter the interventions of civil society, don't sell your vote, don't sell your vote, don't do this, they will still go ahead. People will still go ahead to say, oh, if the government is not providing the social amenities for me, if they are not making my life, at least this is the once in a lifetime that this politician remembers me. So I better collect it. So even to extent they collect, that is even much. We see 500 naira. We see sachet of gari or beans. And you have seen videos where they will collect and even be bowing, like for thank you for giving us. So like you are greeting your slave master. At the end of the day, we know where this money is coming from. The money that is meant to fix infrastructure, to fill the health sector, that is what they are embezzling and sharing as peanuts to us.
Okay. Just to take you back a little bit, you have been keeping up with the elections there in Osun State. So far, so good. What has been your observations?
Well, my observation with what is happening so far, with some information that we get, seems like, oh, everything is going right, but there is a lot of abnormalities, and I hope I hope the media that are on ground will be non-partisan, will ensure, and I know they, and I want to encourage colleagues that are on the field there, try to ensure that you do the right thing. And I know that they are putting like their life at risk because election, like even when you are peacefully protesting, is one of the high-risk activity during our democracy.
Election coverage
And protest, and you can anything can hit you from anywhere. So they are very, even though it's not a war zone that you say you wear helmet and not. If they have helmet, they need to wear it this time because
All right, plenty of conversations on the show this afternoon. We are taking a look at Osun Decides 2026, and right from the field now, we have Adejumo Kabir, who is going to be joining us from Osun State. He's a senior researcher of Good Governance Africa. Good afternoon to you, Kabir.
Good afternoon.
All right, while we wait to get up with Adejumo.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, very well.
Okay, it's good to know that you're on ground right there in Osun State. Let me quickly ask you this. So far, so good. What has been your observation of the ongoing election in the state?
Thank you very much for having me. I've been around since Tuesday to a very large extent. Before the election, we've had, series of reports about how people are trying as much as possible to get people mobilized for election. For Wednesday, Thursday, what I observed in many parts of the state, Ede, Iragbeji, Osogbo, Ilobu, for us, we saw quite numbers of old people in their late 70s mobilizing, going out with torchlights, campaigning and people to vote. And for me, I find it very interesting seeing people who ordinarily, this is not their first election, this is not their second. And what this simply tells us is that election in Nigeria or political participation has no expiry date. Interestingly, another thing that has really we've observed is that unlike the news reports in the social media where we've had series of stories about killings, about deaths, Osogbo has been peaceful since Tuesday. Ilobu area has been peaceful. The challenge where we have challenge in this part of the state, which has been very loud, it is the Ijesha land. And people need to understand that the crisis in the Ijesha land can sometimes be beyond politics. Ijesha land, or Ilesha particularly, where you've got people like Senator Fadansi, Wole Oke, and all of these top political godfathers, leaders, has been prone over the years for cultism. So sometimes political.
Kabir, can you please rotate your phone? Can you rotate your phone? Just put it on like auto rotate.
Yes, it is.
Okay, says it is.
Yeah, it is.
All right, continue.
Yeah. So basically, as I was saying, that the issues we've been having had really been issues of maybe political violence, but whether we like it or not, it has cultism undertone. But for today, another thing that I must also mention that we have observed is that buying we've been able to speak with people on the street, our own findings that told us that yes, the two major political parties, they have been involved in vote buying. Often before vote buying usually occur on the day of election, but this vote buying that we witnessed in this election happened days before the election. People say, oh, your PVC, bring your PVC, show me your PVC. You got a 10,000 naira, you've got 15,000 naira. When you are done voting and you are able to show our, you will definitely get, and also, so that has really been, in terms of security, it has been really fair today. I've been to Ilobu, I've been to some part of Oshogbo. But interesting is that, there has also been, reports of, chaos. But we must definitely understand that to say violence will be wrong, because I have not had reports where people are being harassed with guns. So what we have is disagreement between political parties, and these agreements are political parties agents. And most of these agreements are, be as a result of, Beaver's machine not working, a certain political party agent monitoring people's votes, and you see other political party agents saying, no, that is not right. So that has really been the situation. But really, for the part of Oshogbo, Ilobu, even the Ijesha land that, before election that have witnessed series of violence, things have been relatively fair. And as I speak now, I'm in one of the polling units at AUD Primary School in Laro area, Ilobu. People are on the queue, they are voting to a very large extent. Things have been very, very fine. Security are on ground, civil defense are here, and to a very large extent, it's been fair here.
Okay, now you talked about there being a little chaos, and you also talked about beavers there. And knowing fully well that this Osun state election is like a litmus paper for the 2027 general elections coming next year, what are the implications of this?
So for me, I would say that, the electoral umpire, the INEC, they just need to try as much as possible to up their game. Things to a very large extent are better than what we used to have. In the past, by now, you would have had that, maybe major different polling units, things are going back, but to a very large extent. Yes, these things happen. Are they correct?
Are you
no.
there?
But really, I'm very much with you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is this, that yes, we may have some of these glitches and thereabouts, but things have been a bit better compared to what we used to have in the past. With reports that we've had, we've not really had issues. Yes, there are a few places, and I really believe that, INEC will make corrections and they can do better in the 2027 election.
Okay, are you still there with us?
Yes, very much, Ruth.
Okay, Osun state elections have historically been highly competitive. Are you seeing any evidence of heightened political tensions, or as just give us what you've seen so far?
To a very large extent, for me, I am not so. Today we've got security personnel everywhere, so I don't really think there will be. And you also need to note that even over the years, when you say political tension in Osun, over the years, there has always been pre-election. Many a time on the day of election, we always have a relatively peaceful environment, except in some cases, in some rural environment, like Orolu or Yere, and some parts of, where we have these major political bigwigs contesting. But for this morning, for me, I don't think there will really be any serious issue. But again, it is also important to note that the result of the election will determine a lot. But so far, when people realize that there's need for there's accountability, things are going fine, I'm not sure they will definitely have the need to have any violence, really.
Okay, we've got reports of underage voters at some of the polling units now. What are your reactions to this? So what can you say so far?
So for that, I must condemn that openly. Election, there's a law that states that you must be 18 before you participate in election. In cases where we have that, we need to call the attention of necessary authority to that, to stop that and ensure that indeed, if voting must happen, we must have legitimate voters. We've also got reports here that I must say, just as I was speaking with you, of a person, just an individual, being the party agent of like different political parties. We understand that this is wrong and should not be condoned, really.
Now, let's quickly talk about, just so you landed in the talks of someone being an agent of different parties. I'd like to take us back to people being involved in vote buying. Just so you mentioned at the start that since what you observed is that the vote buying process has started way before the election, but then the election is currently going on. Do you think that something like this might still be happening? Are people still having to change their mindset just before the election or before the vote, really?
Definitely. It's for some people that we have spoken with, some of the arguments push is that that if they don't get those things during the election, that they may never have such again. Some of them say, oh, if they get paid, that will not change their will, that will not change the person they want to vote for. But interestingly, the political parties have now gone diabolical, because we've also seen videos where traditionalists and all of this, we've got videos where people are saying, oh, if I betray candidate Lagbaja and Temodo, may this happen to me?
Really?
So they have to, yes, they have been viral videos of this. So because people know that the guys who are giving them this money, they know that sometimes people get their money and they vote for. In fact, during the campaigning period, you hear party A and B saying collect their money but don't vote for them. But people have now said, if that is what you do, before we give you money at all, you must swear that next thing happen to you if you betray whatsoever candidate or you must have taken money from. So these are some of the things that that is fast happening. With vote buying stop anytime in Nigeria, I think the anti-graft agency needs to do a lot. There's a viral video again that we saw where some persons were saying that they raised alarm about buying and selling on votes in Ikire, and police allegations that we have not confirmed, that police personnel then said, oh, that they must allow them to take action, then they must be paid as well. So until voters themselves approached the guys and withdrew the money, they were sharing. So this is a major challenge. ICPC had said that they will try as much as possible to curb vote buying. The FCC had said the same. I said, oh, we will not tolerate this. But I think our security operators need to be of utmost at the top of their game to ensure that indeed the will of the people is done.
Okay, now 2 allegations against the Nigerian police so far at this election. The first one, we heard that at a part in Modakeke, they enabled the cutting away of the electoral material. And now you also said that in another place, they were also involved, saying that if anything is going to happen, they also need to get sorted. What role or what impact do you think that the Nigerian security architecture is playing in this particular election?
So interestingly, you understand that, even before the election, we have seen allegations by even the state government. We've seen allegations by people saying, oh, the police are...
Okay, Kabir.
As the other parties have also said...
I think reception is really...
Yeah. Are you still there?
Okay, let's turn to Kende. The boy Gawi is with us in the studio now. Just the question I was trying to ask from Kabir concerning the reports we've gotten from the police so far. So, okay, are you there now? It's buffering anyway. So, Kende, please, I need you to comment on this. The role that the Nigerian security architecture is playing in this election. At this point.
Yes, like I've mentioned before, this is a very concerning issue. Now we are now seeing the police saying that for you to allow this malpractice, because a malpractice happen here, you have to sort it. I'm not surprised. These are what we have been experiencing, documented, but we are hoping that will change. But we'll just continue to ask the right authority to ensure that this should not continue. But unfortunately, they are seeing this, they are looking away. Even though there is a law against vote buying. But the situation that we have seen is that some people may commit the offense and the government or the agency that is supposed to arrest them will look away. Some people will commit the offense and they will arrest them. That is the major challenge that we are seeing. The party, the government agencies, security, especially the police, must continue to remain non-partisan in our election and be corruption-free. This is not a time to be asking for bribe. We know bribery and corruption seems to be like in the system of the police system. But this is not a time, at least they should have some dignity and stop embarrassing
I feel like you don't want to say they should have some shame. So
maybe reduce the shame.
Okay. We also got reports in some polling units that the turnout has been massive, especially in Ede, where the governor is from. But we also heard that the beavers has been slow. How do you think this is going to affect the election process?
The INEC needs to work on this. We have been talking about the use of technology, and there'll be a lot of budget invested in this technology. Like I mentioned, this is like a litmus test for the next election. We should stop having these issues about beavers is not working, because the need for this technology is to ensure that we have a more credible election. How do we get credible election when the technology is failing? It's really concerning. With all the money, with all the funds, with all the budgets we are investing in beavers, why is this still failing? I know there'll be little issues, but this is the same story that we keep hearing in every election cycle. Where is the money going to? Are we buying the correct devices? Are we dealing with the technology that needs to be done? I also want to emphasize this. The procurement process of acquiring this technology for this our election. Is it transparent? Is it corruption-free? Are we obeying the law? Are we ensuring that it's the people that can provide the right quality service that we are giving this procurement to, or their party people?
All right. I think Kabir Adejuma is back with us now from the Good Governance. So Kabir, let me quickly ask you this. I know you said it a whole lot before now. You even talked about some parties getting diabolical and what have you. But most importantly now, what Nigerians have been talking about is the issue of the beavers, how it's been malfunctioning, how it's not been allowing for the election to go freely. And then, just like my co-host rightly said, this is more like a litmus test to what is going to happen next year, 2027. Now, I think beavers is another issue on its own. Then we have IREV. And then we know how the network, the connectivity issue can be in Nigeria. In the place of INEC now, what do you think they need to come up with to do best to get this thing running before the election in 2027? Kabir?
Are you there?
Okay, let's come back to the house now while we wait to get connected. Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. You see, like I would say that we have a challenge, and the challenge first, yes, the technology we are using by now should have been great. The technology we are using by now should have been advanced, majorly because this is not the first time we are having it. And like, my brother said over there, over the years, we've seen people invest so much. People say, the government is improving budget and thereabout. And yet we still have this, the challenge. It's a challenge that we should not have, really. But then we have to always also be realistic. I would have expected that I wouldn't know whether the IREV or the Beavers thing could work without internet. Because as I speak, I've had need to go out of this interview for like 2 or 3 times now as a result of network challenges. So there are quite some places in the country where ordinarily there's no network. So what I would have thought is that perhaps the INEC, Nigerian government, could work with NCC, could work with telecommunication agencies to first improve internet. We are just talking about election, and that's why we are discussing about internet. On a norm in Nigeria, we've had series of crises. People are losing their job because there are poor network services. So the network service providers must do well to improve their network services when that is done, because we are only saying this because it's the time of election. But ordinarily, when we don't even have election, internet is frustrating in the country. So I think the government, the NCC, the telecommunication agencies, INEC must come together to see how best they are able to resolve this menace. Because indeed, if we are saying we are using beavers, we are using IREV for resources to go online so that people can see live update and thereabout. If these things are still being affected, we always have the reason why political parties will say, oh, we are contesting the election. And when you ask them, they say, oh, because beavers, because IREF was not being used and thereabout. And I think the people in power need to also try as much as possible to ensure that in all we do, we don't make ambiguous provisions. It is clear enough for Nigerians and the right thing be done.
All right. Thank you very much, Kabir, for that wonderful input there. Thank you very much. I mean, we just listened to Kabir, who is there right there in Osun State, give us updates with what is currently happening in the election process. Now back to our guest who is here with us, Mr. Kehinde Adegboyega. Let us look at a voter apathy now. We saw a video of a young girl there in Osun State saying that she's not really interested in all this politics and electioning things. What do you have to say, and how does this affect elections going forward?
Yes, so you can't blame. I was in a meeting with civil society and the electoral politicians, and they were saying that people don't like to come out to vote, but you can't blame them. And I had to speak out there because in 2023, some of my colleagues were provided at the polling unit. Some of people were beaten out of the polling unit. So that's number one. Number two, people are also not sure that their vote is going to count. You have seen all the malpractice, even the alleged one that even the police are involved in. So I will go out to vote. Let's assume that at least I was allowed to vote. I will go out to vote, and I'm not sure that that vote will count. And you want to encourage people to go out to vote, like, oh, they will snatch the ballot box. They will tell IRF is not working. Beavers will not work. That is really discouraging. Because number one, you have to leave your home and say, and sometimes stand for hours. Yes. Especially if you are in a polling unit that you have a long queue and you have to be accredited. And why some people have love, the funny thing that during those elections, I'll be surprised in some community, it's football match that they are using because they're like, why will I waste my time?
There's no interest.
There's no interest. So the electoral umpire, the government needs to ensure we can't blame we can't still begin blaming the victim. Because if you allow electoral process, like if it's transparent, that say, oh, if I put A here, I will get A as output. People will encourage, they will say, they will thought that their numbers matter. It will come out there. But when we have all this malpractice in the process that is supposed to allow our process to be credible, it's discouraging for people. And civil society are still keep doing what they are doing. Come out to vote, get your PVC and all that. But at the end of the day, this effort will be a mess if the process of election is not credible.
Talk about the process of election being credible. I mean, in your own books now, what best do you think the Independent National Electoral Commission can do or should do in order to have the free, fair, and credible election?
Well, that is a lot to say, but starting from they should, number one, obey the rules. Like they partly suggest the laws and acts that govern the electoral process.
I mean, we saw the Electoral Act being reformed.
Yes, they should ensure the laws are followed to the letter. Number two, most times the INEC will say we are not, we are only working with other stakeholders. We are like the police. We are not police. Yes, they don't. INEC officials don't have. They don't wear police uniform. They don't carry arm and ammunition to ensure that ballot boxes are not smashed, are not those like that. But beyond INEC, there should be a serious, because I think election is not just about INEC in Nigeria.
Yes.
It involves a lot of other stakeholders. To the extent that I will shock you that the NURTW even have a stake in our election. That is just by the way, but I will bring you back to what happened in the last election. They were contracted to be moving ballot back, but I will note that NURTW that we presently have a designer is partisan. So, and there was allegation that how can you employ them to be moving ballot box, partisan organization, because we know that that the union is not a non-partisan union. It's not independent. They are always aligned to one person or the other. We don't even have time to talk about the violence that happens within that their own setup too. So number one, we need to ensure the INEC is the first person that you bring out there. Number one, INEC should do what they are supposed to do. Now, I've also mentioned the procurement process. Ensure that the procurement process are transparent. Number two, we have also mentioned a very germane issue. Internet is not just a service thing. It's a security infrastructure.
But we don't treat it like that in this
We
part.
don't treat it like that. Unfortunately, some government even think that they have power to shut it down as they like. So we should, you'll be shocked that they are funding even to make sure that there is increase of internet access in those rural areas or communities where we still have internet issues.
But it's not happening.
Even in urban Lagos, we still have issues with challenges with internet. Why are we? And we have increased tariff. Recently, tariff was increased by 50% or even more than that. But still yet, we are still having poor internet service. You may not be able to stand so much on a WhatsApp call and you hear, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. You can't. There'll be struggle under a WhatsApp call. So we need to deal with the infrastructure that will allow us to get credible election. I've talked about security agents. They need to be non-partisan. And the last and important thing, we must develop a framework that ensures that INEC is truly independent. The name is Independent
National Electoral Commission.
The framework that builds INEC is not independent.
It's subjected.
It's subjected. Who appoints the INEC chairman?
Okay.
That means, and we have even seen cases, even at the state level of the electoral bodies, that the officials there are partisan.
Yeah. I mean, just so we have the INEC that the chairman is being, put there by the presidency. Even the states are being put there by the state governors.
Yeah. So what do you expect?
Okay.
He will pay the piper, dictate the tune.
Okay. Now, going back to what is happening currently there, we also got reports from correspondents down there that some Osun residents are accusing INEC of deliberating omitting their names from the register to prevent them from voting. A particular man even said that INEC withheld his PVC, his children, despite being listed as registered voters. How do you assess this?
INEC can only explain this again because they have enough time. They have enough time after every election to ensure to dust these voters' registers. I mean, even if it has been
dusty,
if it's been somewhere it has carried dust, they have enough time and enough budgetary support to ensure that these And we should not be having this. And this is not the first time this is happening. And we are still having this concern. During the last election, a lot of people could not get their PVC. Despite several attempts to try to get their PVC, they could, and they are politically, that so disenfranchised automatically. So INEC cannot continue to give it the excuse. Why can't these people have their voters card?
I mean, a couple of updates that are still coming through now is that the police have arrested about 143 individuals allegedly brought into Osun State to participate in the governorship election. And the most dicey thing is that they were found in the residence of one Honorable Abiola Ibrahim, who is a current member of the State House of Assembly.
That's a that's a good effort, but we have to be sure that whatever effort they are trying to is not a partisan effort. They have to show us credibility. So if everybody, what we are saying is this: we are not saying the police should not do their work, but we are saying what they should do is that they should obey the law. They should be non-partisan. So the same way they have got someone from the opposition, I'm believing, allegedly that this person is from the opposition.
Yes.
They should ensure that if someone in the ruling party from the federal government is committing the same crime, they should not look away.
All right, I will say our Kendi Adegwega with us in the studio this afternoon and discussing Osun Decides 2026. Going back to the virtual now, where we have Martin Obono, who joined us. He's the executive director of TAP Initiative. They are the owners of iReport INEC. Good afternoon to you, Martin.
Good afternoon to you, Martin.
Martin, are you there with us?
Yes, good afternoon to you too. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you join us. Let's start from here. So far, so good. How would you describe the election process right there in Osun State?
Thank you. The election process has been a bit calm. It's been, we have to commend INEC so far for the swift and early distribution of materials. To different polling units and local governments and the rest of that. So despite the fact that the materials came in a bit late yesterday, I mean, definitely as a result of the fact that the Court of Appeal had to force INEC to enlist or register the SDP candidates. So we can understand that they had to print materials and over again and then distribute those materials on time. So we have to give them that. That has been very credible. I mean, commendable. The conduct of the election so far has been really peaceful. We have not had incidences that has led to violence, except that I see in KDI's reports that there is one incident somewhere in Ife. So just only one incident. So the conduct has been quite peaceful so far. We hope that it continues till tomorrow or when results will be announced, so that basically the conduct should remain peaceful the way it has been. And we must give it to the people of Osun State. The turnout has been extreme. It's an election that has been good so far. I must commend the process. And maybe also is because of the fact that they have deployed a lot of security agencies on ground. So that's why, or it's just that people are still hopeful to see which of the candidates win, and then whatever will happen or transpire will happen from there.
Okay, thank you so much, Martin. Please, I'd like you to hold on now as we have one of our correspondents who is currently on ground in Osun State to give us a real-time update of what is currently happening in his location. Segun Oluwole, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, yes, currently I'm at Ilesha West, in one of the polling units at Ilesha West. So, for here, we have the issue of the beavers is malfunctioning here, and this is actually to the voters. In fact, most of them told me that they tried to arrive late so that they could vote earlier. Some of them even arrived. Some of them even arrived at least as early as 7 a.m. Imagine this is about. Well, I think we are very close to 1 p.m. now. See this
7 minutes past 1 now.
Yes. So they are still there. They don't even know their fate if they are going to be allowed to vote or not. So another thing I still realize is, I won't lie to you, there is still a tactical issue of vote buying. Yes, they are doing it tactically. Yeah, they are doing it tactically. So from both the APC and also the Accord party. And for the issue of violence, there's nothing like violence because the security personnel, they are well armed and they behave well. They behave well. So another thing that I noticed is the issue of underage voting. Underage voting is so rampant. It's so rampant. So there are a lot of children that we approach them. You know, it's not even about appearance. Even some of them confess to us and they told us that it's their parents that actually got them the
PVCs.
Voters card, the PVC, yes. So in fact, what the most interesting is that most of them don't even lack electionary education. They don't even know the candidates. So they are just been told that go here, go and vote for Accord, go and vote for APC, go and vote for Egbe Alabuela. I think you understand what I'm saying. That is
yes.
Olowo. So that's how they have been, training these children. So then I think also the INEC also has to do something about the I don't know. Let me try to quote some of the voters I spoke to. They accused INEC of deliberate attempt to suppress them from voting. So I don't know, something I could fact check myself, as an investigator, but it's something that they told us that it is a deliberate from the INEC to suppress some of them from voting their preferred candidates. Though that may be too emotional. But the thing is that I don't know. It sounds so strange that in 2026, barely 7 months to the general election, we are still being told some Nigerians who are qualified by the by statutory laws to vote for their candidate are still being denied these rights. Not because they are not willing to vote, but because their name is being
It's not
omitted.
found on the register.
So in fact, some of them that they got registered, their name come out, but they couldn't get their PVC. That was so terrible. That was so terrible. So again, how do you want this kind of people to have sense of fulfillment or sense of belonging? They feel cheated. So in what the election, even if the result appears to be free and fair, these people will never believe the process was free and fair because they have been denied their constitutional rights. So that's what we have for now in Elisha. So I've been to Ede. Yes, that is the constituency of the incumbent governor. I've been to Oshogbo. Now I'm in Elisha. I believe Elisha is again of the APC. So
Shagun, let me quickly cut you in now. You mentioned about a particular, I think that should be Elisha, where so you said that there's beavers glitch. Can you give us maybe the number of the beavers machine that they have in that location?
So this presently now, I think they have only one here. So
one beavers machine.
The whole community.
For the whole community, for the polling unit I am.
For the polling unit.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can see the polling unit here now. If you could check my camera, you see that we have almost over 500 voters waiting to be allowed to vote. So imagine you could hear from the background they are trying to,
this is about 1 p.m. now.
Yeah, it's chaotic. In fact, this place is even good. The first place I visited, there are about thousands of people waiting. In Elisha, there are about thousands of people waiting. So it's because that some of them even told me that they are not going to vote anymore because they have been frustrated. You waiting, be on the queue for about 6 hours, and there is not even hope for you to be allowed to vote, so you will leave. So,
okay, all those places. Okay, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you go ahead?
You said you said you visited Ede, you visited Elisha. Now, all those places that you have visited, can you describe the security situation in all these areas?
Yes, I talk about it. I told you that the security are doing their best. In fact, they are well armed. They perform professionally. The only case of harassment that we have so far from journalists is also in Elisha here. So they tried to harass one of the journalists. I don't know how we are going to say this. It's so bad. that a Nigerian police officer is still training a journalist not to do his job. Do you get it? So the journalist was trying to record, and the police officer was, I don't know, he got you know, it was like you can't video me, you can't do this, and he tried to harass the journalist. So though we quickly intervened and the thing was settled. That's the only incident we have so far. And also the issue of violence, I think, is also in Ilefe. That's the only violence we have reported so far. So for now, there's not anything.
Okay, thank you so much, Segun Oluwole. We'll still come back to you in the course of the conversation this afternoon. Osun Decides 2026. Let's go back to Martin now. Martin Obono, who is still with us on the show, is the Executive Director of TAP Initiative and the owners of iReport INEC. Martin, let me ask you about the initiative report and how do you think it affects, it has been effective so far?
So far we've covered about almost 20% of Osun State's polling units in Osun State currently, and it wasn't something that we were expecting because we literally started deployment of iReport INEC on Monday. That's less than a week, and we have heard different instances or cases where people say the technology penetration, the ICT penetration in Osun State is very low, and that there is no Uber, there is no Bulls, there is no, those kinds of applications. So people might not necessarily use the app. But it's been quite shocking to see the level of the number of people that have signed up in the last 5 days. So and the numbers keep increasing. As at yesterday, it was 400. 400, and as of today, we have crossed over 600, heading to 700. So it is a very welcome development, and the people of Osun cannot wait to have a free and fair transfer.
Okay, now, Martin, I mean, all the areas that you have covered, and some persons are complaining about beavers having glitches and slow beavers. Have you seen this in the areas that you have covered?
No, we haven't actually, because it has not been in large scale. So what we can escalate to be in a large scale is to see maybe when it happens in a lot of places. But sometimes they tell you to, it does. There's a way the beavers works, according to what I've seen so far. What we've seen so far is that if they are taking the picture from the front camera, then it doesn't work. They will flip the camera and it works. So for the election officers and ad hoc officers who are there, who understand this, they tend to use that strategy to correct whatever anomalies that have happened before. So we haven't seen a large-scale failure of beavers machines working. So that's why we cannot therefore say that. Yes.
From your response now, it means that Nigerians will always find a way. If the front camera is not working, we flip it to the back just to make sure that we get what we want to do. Nigerians will always find a way. But now, let me quickly ask you this now. You talked about ICT penetration being low in Osun State, which means that for some of the rural areas, they might be struggling with internet, with connectivity. Let's take the 2027 election into context now. If by now we still have the about 20% places that you've covered in your survey to have this low penetration of the internet, what do you think this will mean for the forthcoming election?
So when I say that we have covered 20%, it's not because there is low ICT penetration, low level of technology. It's just that 20% of people have been able to say that, we trust this application, iReport INEC, and we want to also have our results backed up in an independent portal, because iReport INEC is an independent portal that helps citizens to monitor the election and also keep and document the result sheet, so that if IREF fails, in an instance where IREF fails, iReport INEC will step in, and then they can have those results and either call them in evidence or keep them for academic purposes or whatever it is. So it is not the ICT penetration. And then secondly, another important thing is that we have built our own technology in such a way that after you download it on your phone, the app works without internet. So people.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Martin.
Can you hear me? Is it better now?
No. Yeah, better now. Better now.
Okay, so people, because iReport INEC does not require internet for it to work on your phone. The moment you are operating it, you don't require internet. And then when you send your data or information that you're going to send, it also requires zero internet for it to go to the back end, or rather to go to the workbench where every information then passes to the World Wide Web.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, especially because your platform is a dependent platform. Do you think the report that you get from your platform can be used in any INEC electoral petitions or electoral litigation? Do you think it is admissible in court?
So again, I am a lawyer, and can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you, Martin. We can hear you. All right. I think the reception is definitely coming for us this afternoon. I would love to get Martin's reaction concerning that particular one.
Internet
whether or not
is fighting back.
Internet. I sure it's there, Katie. Most definitely. But then it would have been something nice to hear from Martin whether or not the reports that they are getting from the survey would be of use during the litigation process, because this is also more like
okay, so I can hear you now.
Okay, Martin
can
is
you
back
hear
now.
me?
All right, yes, we can hear you now.
So the materials that are obtained on the iReports INEC can be tendered in evidence because they are materials that were given by INEC. It's not that we went to print them. They are not tissue papers. They are election materials that also have serial numbers. Now, it all depends on how you tender those materials in evidence in the court of law, because every material evidence that you tender in court needs to undergo through certain processes, and then when you now tender electronically generated evidence, it also has rules that you must follow for that evidence to be admissible in court. So that's what we are basically saying, is that if you tender the evidence according to the Rules of Evidence Act, the evidence will be admissible in court.
All right. Thank you so much, Martin Obono, who is definitely the executive director of TAP Initiative, the owners of iReport INEC, for also joining us in the course of this conversation this afternoon. If still Osun decides 2026, I will take a look at the happenings right there in Osun State across the 30 local governments, the 332 wards, and the over 3,000 polling units that we have right there. A couple of news coming through, the good ones, the peaceful ones in the likes of Ilobu, and then places where ballot boxes have been carted away at Miracle.
Okay, now, so this is not something we should laugh about, because ballot boxes getting carted away at some places it's not funny at all. I mean, this is the process where people of Osun State get to decide their future. 4 years from now, they get to decide who is leading them, how they are going to be living 4 years. So seeing this happen, I mean, we've been getting reports of underage voters.
Yes.
We've been getting reports of police,
even the aged people are there, and they're not allowed to vote.
Yes, we've been getting people who have registered, but they are not allowed to vote. It is raising concerns and questions. People would definitely look at this. So far, what has INEC done? Because like we said earlier, it is like a litmus test for the 2027 general election. If we saw Ekiti State, now we're seeing Osun, which these are like off-cycle elections. Now, if these things cannot be done properly like we've expected, how is 2027?
Honestly, it's so much to talk about, so much to look into, because even if you are comparing Ekiti and Osun State election, I think there's a bit of increase in the number of eligible voters from Ekiti to Osun State. But then we'll go back to that in the course of this conversation. Before we go on this quick timeout, I would like Kende, possibly you have 1 or 2 things to say before we go for this quick break.
Yeah, it's been an amazing session looking at the election and the key significance with the input from the lawyer and the INEC report is that, and we all know how complex electoral litigation can be, and how expensive and how long it can take, and with just one little issue, the court can say no. Like this evidence cannot, and I'm hoping that. Let the best person win in this election. But despite the challenges and all that, but I hope that we can do better and prepare better for the next election.
All right, most definitely. Still, the Osun Decides 2026, just like we mentioned, different conversation going on. I remember one of our guests talked about the electorate being diabolical. I mean, this is.
I mean, okay. So if what you are saying, if I understand what you're saying, if they cannot go physical, they have to go spiritual.
I don't know about that.
They are exploring all means.
All right, we're going to this quick time out. When we come back, the show continues. It's still Osun Decides 2026, where the electorates are looking to decide who governs them for the next 4 years. Do stay with us.
What can you explain about what is happening?
Yeah, what I observed over the time I have been here is that the numbers of accredited voters in this polling unit is too much compared to the gadgets and the resources that are available and the personnel, INEC personnel that are available. We have been here for over 6 or 7 hours now. You notice that the lines are not moving. It's totally not moving. Of which other units, polling units, they are done by now. So obviously we are looking for if the numbers of accredited voters here will still remain the same, then there should be more resources, more INEC officials, and more gadgets to capture and to relieve people from their pain. Actually, I've been for over 20 hours now. Nothing is working here. Stress. They said it is stress-free. We have been here under the sun, under the stress is just too much for us.
Yeah, I can see some security where, chasing some people out. What can we talk about?
The security are actually trying, but humans are difficult to control. So the numbers of the voters here is compared to way more than the available personnel, like I said. So they are unable to, coordinate the line. So the lines are not well coordinated. Though they are trying their best, the officials are trying their best, the lines are not properly coordinated.
What about the beavers? Is it working perfectly?
The beavers is working, but it is slow. It is slow, very slow. And that's why I said we need more resources. In a polling unit like this, there should be more than 2 units where people can vote. There should be at least 2 to 3 beavers machines working here.
So it's only one.
It's only one that is here, so it's totally uncalled for.
Once again, what is the name?
My name is Tolulope Agunwade.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
tí ìbò tá à ń dì tó wà fún pọ̀ jù síjà kò sí jàgídíjàgan tá a bá dìbò tán rọ̀lẹ́ tó bá gbé jàgídíjàgan orí ẹ̀ ló takò àwọn Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá APC àkọọdù kí n mọ orúkọ wọn sì ni. rárá o mo wá o.
bọ̀ ẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé.
mi ò wá o nígbà tó ṣe pé onígbàálẹ̀ ni mò ń ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mi ò rẹ́ni wá bá mi ṣẹ̀kọ́ yàrá méjì síbẹ̀ yẹn.
ọ̀ ẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n tó ń fààyàn lówó àbí.
mo gbọ́ o.
bí èlò ni.
10,000.
ìwọ náà pàṣẹ onígbàálẹ̀ àbí.
mi ò mọ onígbàálẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀ pé tó bá so pé mo fọwọ́ mi màá mọ̀ pọ̀wọ́ mi ni tí ò sọwọ́ mi ni òkè ṣe tí mo bá dì tó bá fún mi màá gbà. òdodo ni ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ tèmi náà ó ṣe irú ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ iwájú ọlọ́jà àwọn ọmọ wa kẹ́yìn náà gòkè káwọn ọmọ wa náà gòkè torí àwa tí ń da fúrì lọ báyìí oúnjẹ ọmọ lókù ọlọ́jà ajá lájọmọ́nú.
tẹ bá dìbò tó bá fún yín ẹ gbà.
ń gbà o ọ̀rọ̀ wọn.
Okay, they are there already. You be the one who get that. I think that was what thing.
Party wo?
Boot.
Ẹ̀yin Màṣílò.
Ibi ẹ bá ní kẹ́ ẹ dìbò sí ńbẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá pàdé orí lógò tẹ́ ẹ dìbò sí olóńlọ ẹgbẹ́ ti yé ṣùgbọ́n tá a ti lè dìbò síbì kan tẹ́ ẹ bá padà kájú ẹ̀dẹ̀ báyìí fọ́ìdì ni o kò jẹ́ o ẹgbẹ́ ti yé pàdé báyìí tán kó wá lè kakò báyìí kó kakò báyìí kó jù sí ṣùgbọ́n fọ́ọ̀sì ó ní pé kẹ́ ẹ kọ́kọ́ pàdé mọ́ra wọn báyìí. Ìbò wà ní ìdáàmú o.
Orúkọ mi ni Ọlánìyàn Dàdàtọ̀ tí mo jẹ́ ìfẹ́ nínú ara wọn tí ó fẹ́ dìbò ní alájọba wọn fún ọdún 6. So àwọn nígbà tí wọ́n fún wa ó sùn díẹ̀ fásitì dáadáa. Àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan sọjú wọn lẹ̀ tí ò gbójú wọn. Tó bá tó wá yá aláwọ̀ sì wá gbà padà.
Ǹjẹ́ kò sí mọ̀wúrú kankan bí báyà?
Kò sí mọ̀wúrú ọjà wọn.
Ntọ́kọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé ó slow. Kí lẹ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC?
Ṣé o dákọ̀ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC pé kí wọ́n jọ wọ́n dàpọ̀ àwọn ìyá ọjọ́ ẹni darúgbó tàbí àwọn tí wò mọ ibi tí wọ́n ní fẹ́ẹ́ tẹ̀ka sí kí wọ́n máa gba láì tí wọ́n bá ti jọ pé òkè ẹni báyìí o dàbí ní kọ́ bá tẹ ọmọ mi ni o àbúrò mi ni mo mú wá o kọ́ bá gbà láì jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kí lórúkọ yín?
Orúkọ mi ni Ọlánìyàn Dàdàtọ̀ alájọ wa fún ọdún 6.
Orúkọ wọn wà ń bí báyìí bí ayẹ ni wọn wà ń bí báyìí.
Ẹ̀mí ìpín kò sí voters card wọn.
Wọn ò ní voters card lọ́bẹ̀ tó orúkọ wọn wà ń bí báyìí.
Bí àwọn mélòó ni ẹ̀?
Ó dẹ̀ pa àwọn méjì ní ẹjẹ̀ ń pọ̀ wá.
On top this election, how would you damage people's car? How do you damage people's car like this? This is totally unfair. This is totally unfair. Our motto. This is totally unfair. See, imagine. This is totally unfair. This is unfair.
Mo ti di gómìnà, mo ti di president.
Orúkọ olókọ sí gan.
Ọláníyì Kàbáyọ̀ mọ́tò yẹn sí. Mo ẹjẹ́ lára mo ti kọ́kọ́ wà. Bí ọdún kẹrin náà lè rí.
Ó dì ní ẹ̀jẹ̀ tọ́jọ́.
Láti election náà la dé bíbá ìròyìn tó tó lọ fàfà.
Àníyì Kàyé mò ń wo orúkọ mi ò jáde ní ọ̀gá.
Mo kọ́ nọ́mbà mo ṣe wọ́n láyé.
My name is Sulu.
What can you explain about what is happening?
Yeah, what I observed over the time that I've been here is that the numbers of accredited voters in this polling unit is too much compared to the gadgets and the resources that are available, and the personnel, INEC personnel that are available. We have been here for over 6 or 7 hours now. You notice that the lines are not moving. It's totally not moving. Of which other units, polling units, they are done by now. So obviously we are looking for if the numbers of accredited voters here will still remain the same, then there should be more resources, more INEC officials, and more gadgets to capture and to relieve people from their pain. Actually, I'm for over 20 hours now. Nothing is working here. Stress. They said it is stress-free. We have been here under the sun, under the stress is just too much for us.
Yeah, I can see some security were, chasing some people out. What can we talk about?
The security are actually trying, but movements are difficult to control. So the numbers of the voters here is compared to way more than the available personnel, like I said. So they are unable to, coordinate the line. So the lines are not well coordinated. Though they are trying their best, the officials are trying their best, the lines are not properly coordinated.
What about the beavers? Is it working perfectly?
The beavers is working, but it is slow. It is slow, very slow. And that's why I said we need more resources. In a polling unit like this, there should be more than 2 units where people can vote. There should be at least 2 to 3 beavers machines working here.
So it's only one.
It's only one that is here, so it's totally uncalled for.
What is the name?
My name is Tolu Lokagurade.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Can you explain what happened? Why were you delayed here?
We came here to cast our vote.
What time? What time?
We came here around 7:20. And the protocol of the elderly should be first of all allowed to be cast their vote before anybody else. To our own surprise, nobody has ever come here to attend to us. So we have been sitting at the suspects.
What really happened? Did they explain to you what happened?
Whenever they come, we tell them that they are wasting our own time. Because we are not elderly people, we cannot just be sitting wasting our own time. So that's
once again, what is the name, sir?
I said my name is
All right, thank you.
Something else?
Okay. Stay like that. Stay like.
Hello, good afternoon. You can hear me, please. Just keep your rotation the way it is. So we just loop in like that. Thank you.
As the people were complaining about the slow of the network of beavers, what can you say about it?
I think it is deplorable to experience that the beavers is the beavers is very, very bad. In the polling booth where the governor is voting, here we have a crowd like this, which is not common in Osun State. As you can observe, you can see yourself. I doubt the credibility of INEC. It is deplorable.
You say due to the fact that the governor came from this side, that is why the
not because the governor come inside.
Hello, Mr. Israel, can you hear me?
Like this. I'm from
yes,
this
I can hear you.
This is my,
yes, so we need your video.
This is my home, this is my compound, and this is
instead of portrait, because
I come specifically for this election.
Be like this. Yes,
exactly. Millions of us, they are calling votes.
Thank you.
Comparing to what I'm seeing, I always
always to see in Nigeria.
So,
if you are turning your camera the other way, you have to turn
like
off
intimidation or anything.
There is nothing like intimidation. I can assure you that there can never be something like intimidation here in Napoli.
So what
so you have to turn off the blurry effect so that you are turning your camera.
The INEC have to be here and have the well-trained personalities and even check well their devices that they are using, the materials that they are using, which is very, very important. It is very, very important for
Sadiq. This year, last year, I can't remember the 70th. Felt excited, but still nervous at the same time because all these election stuff like that and the news I heard about it, so and violence every single time, so all these stuff like I don't know how to put it, but it's something that everybody knows about. This is the first time that it's my grandma. Surely she will have me.
So where are you putting from?
No, I can't see it.
Okay, they are there already. You be the one who will get that. 13,000 word thing.
Party wo?
Boot.
Ẹ̀yin Mashilo.
orúkọ wọn wà ń bí báyìí bí ayẹ ni wọn wà ń bí báyìí.
ẹ̀mí ìpín kò sí voters card wọn.
wọn ò ní voters card lọ́wọ́ tó orúkọ wọn wà ń bí báyìí.
bí àwọn mélòó ni ẹ.
ó dẹ̀ pa àwọn méjì ní ẹjẹ̀ ń pọ̀ wá.
On top this election, how would you damage people's car? How do you damage people's car like this? This is totally unfair. This is totally unfair. Our motto. This is totally unfair. See, imagine. This is totally unfair. This is unfair.
mo ti di gómìnà mo ti di president ọlálẹ́yìn àbáyọ̀mọ́ tó yẹ sáà mo ẹjẹ́ lára ọkọ̀ wa bí ọdún kẹrin náà lè
láti election náà láti débẹ̀ ìròyìn tó bá pàpà.
a ní orúkọ mi ò dáhùn.
ó kọ́ nọ́mbà mo ṣe wọ́n láyé.
Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Osun Decides 2026, and we're definitely bringing you up to speed with the latest happening right there in the state of Osun. Just like we've established at the start of this transmission today, I would let you know that the election in Osun is a very unique one. Historically, it's one that has been marred with a lot of litigation, and it's not just that. One of the few off-cycle elections that we have happening in this part of the world. A couple of hours into the elections, now about 5 hours if I'm not mistaken, because the election started at about 8:30 a.m. this morning. I check the time now. It's a few minutes before 2, which means that we should be talking about the election winding down, the IRF getting reports from different polling units, and even we can now be looking forward to the eventual collation of the results. With us, we still have Kende Adegboyega in the studio, who is the executive director of the Human Rights Journalist Network Nigeria as well. Also be talking to some of our guests who will be joining us virtually on the show this afternoon. We do have Israel Olatunji Tijani, who is also the founder of ChatVE. Israel, are you with us? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Israel, are you there?
Okay, while we wait for Israel to connect with us, let's come to Kende Adegboyega. I mean, just before we went for the quick time and the other time, there were talks about aged women were right there, and then they are not being allowed to vote till this minute.
Yeah, what do they exactly tell us why they are disenfranchising them? Because that's serious allegation. So why are they not allowed to vote? Is it the Beavers issue again? Is it their PVC that is giving the problem? So and I think we should allow they are a part of, to a large extent, persons with disability, because they likely have some form of disability, and we think that they should be part of the people should be given priority during the election, so that they don't stay so long and all those like that. There should be even a separate line for them to accommodate them, because they they can't stand so long and all that.
Okay, now reports are reaching us now that there's been reports that a woman has been complaining. She is in the Accord Party. She has not been allowed to vote. I mean, this is an election where every member from different parties should vote, but this particular person now from the Accord Party has not been allowed to vote. What are your reactions?
That is also a serious allegation. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because during the last election too, people were profiled that if they are not voting for this party, they cannot allow to vote in this polling unit. Some of them were so unlucky that they were beaten out of that polling unit.
I mean, just a couple of minutes ago, we also have the update from the Osun State ADC governorship candidate. That's talking about Najim Salam, who is also claiming that some of their party agents were being denied tax across 10 local government areas. I mean, just hours into the election now, all of these, things are being reviewed. Towards the end now, there will be like key points that these, different parties will be holding on to as to possibly why they have faltered at the election, or why they do not have enough number of votes. Because this is looking like some persons being disenfranchised, some checks that are supposed to be done by these party agents are not being done.
Well, please, can you come again? I want to get why they are not allowed.
So according to him, he's just saying that their party agents are being denied the attacks across 10 local government areas.
They are denied access to the polling.
Yes.
That's serious. But we need to go beyond this issue, and it's almost the same thing with the accord, the allegation from the accord representative. We should stop profiling people at the electoral polling. They should be allowed to vote.
Okay.
They should be allowed to vote whether they belong to Party A or Party B. No discrimination.
All right, Israel Olatunji is right here, the founder of Chat V. Israel Olatunji Tijani, the founder of Chat VE. Good afternoon to you, Israel.
Good afternoon to you, Israel.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's obvious that you're right there in the middle of the election. So we'd like to hear from you. What's the pulse like right where you are? Tell us where you are and what's happening around you in this minute.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm currently at polling unit named Anolu Junction. The polling unit code is 008 in Ede South local government. Ward is Alajue 1. So far, the turnout has been very impressive here. And unfortunately, there is just one beavers machine here. So I'm looking at the number of people in the crowd. So I have information that voting will stop by 2:30 p.m. But anyone on the queue as at that time will be the only people that will be allowed to vote. So we can be certain that this election, or let me say ballot casting, is going to last till late in the evening because of the turnout and just one beavers machine here.
Okay, right there where you are, you also said that the beavers machine, just one in that community where you are. What does this imply in this election? Looking at Osun State, we are using it as a litmus test for the 2027 presidential election.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So it means that in an election, when we have a larger turnout of people and we have limited number of equipment and devices, so it's going to slow election activities down. And at the end of the day, we might not be able to actually capture the number of people who are willing and ready to vote. Because you can imagine if we have over 200 people on the queue now, and it's almost 2:30 p.m. and they are waiting for just one beaver system, to cast their ballot. So in the general election in 2027, we could see situation whereby people will just be removing themselves from the line and will be casting their ballots because of the queue.
And that's a very big one. And people will be willing to say, look, I think I'm tired of standing on this queue. I'm not sure this is going to get to me at all. Now, let's go talk about security and also incidents. So far, right where you are in Ede, can you tell us if you've observed or received any form of intimidation, harassment, or violence around that polling unit?
Yeah, so far, not just in a day actually. So I've been to about 4 local governments this afternoon, and we've been to over 15 polling units. So far, there is no report of any violence or intimidation so far. And here in the security is very tight, beefed up. So all security apparatus are currently working here in to the best of their capacity.
Okay. In some of these areas where you've been to, have you been able to speak to some of the voters there on ground? And what issues have they been saying to you, and what has appeared to be influencing their decisions most strongly today?
Yes. Okay. So so far we've been able to speak to some voters, especially older citizens. So they had issues with the facial recognition device. So when they did their PVC about many years ago, so they were younger. So now they are older with wrinkle on their face, and it's become very difficult for the beavers machine to capture their face. So at some point, they were asked to wait and sit down and be cleaning their face. But when I discussed with the INEC official, so they were like, okay, they are trying to turn the camera. So instead of maybe using the front camera, I think they said they turned the beavers machine to the back camera, or maybe they turned it from the back and using the front camera. So, and that was able, they were able to resolve that issue. But going forward, we should be expecting situations like this when, it is called permanent voters cards, essentially. So over time, we get older. So, and we should expect that we will be keeping that particular phase we have when we do the beavers biometric capturing forever. So I think it's something that the commission can look into to prevent disenfranchisement in future elections.
Okay. I mean, just like you mentioned, you've been to 4 local government areas of the state already. Let's talk about the voters turnout. Just like you mentioned, that where you're at now, the number is huge. But how would you describe the turnout of the voters? Is it up to what you were expecting, or do you think that people could be much more than the numbers that we have out there today?
Looking at what we have, people, let me say that it still shows that people are willing to exercise their civic responsibilities, but to be able to put figures to this, that will be when the election has been decided, and we see the total number of people that are really, really accredited and the total number of votes that were cast. So when we do the plus or minus, then we'll be able to say, and even the total number of PVC that INEC issued. So earlier this morning, we had about 81% of PVC not issued. So the remaining ones were said to be deposited with the CBN.
Okay. So now,
so
on your observation as well.
Minus to actually put a figure to.
Hello, Israel, are you still there?
Okay, while we wait for Israel to come back to us, Kende, Israel did mention a couple of things, especially in about 4 of the local government areas it's been to. The election has been, somewhat calm, not much of chaos. But one thing continues to come up with every person that we've spoken to on this show today, has to be the issue and the glitch of the beavers machine.
So I think the issue comes with the technology that is used to verify this. So and we are talking about the national ID, and we are not sure what that challenge is, because we all beyond the election. There's always one form of digital identification that we do, especially when we use our banks, maybe thumbprints and all those things like that. I don't know, maybe the electoral umpire, that's INEC, may need to look beyond maybe facial recognition if that is going to be a challenge going forward. Because like you said, we'll go old. And I was looking at even the picture of my NIM. It's my very younger picture. If I show you now, it's not what you see now. So if you look at me now and you want to use a facial verification, will you, and we are not sure how and we know that this technology also works with AI. Will it still be able to identify me? Which is different from when you want to get a international passport. For every time you apply for an international passport, or even apply for any visa, most times they have to capture your face again. And also sometimes they verify your print. So it may be that we may need to find a way to ensure that we update that facial details so that this will be reduced. But I can really concern that some people, some INEC officials may not know that they can flip the device and to resolve this issue. And one other thing that I also want to talk about is that why is INEC missing beavers at the polling unit? They usually have an idea of how many persons will be at the polling unit. They have the register. So why you having one beavers in a polling unit that you likely have a lot of more people? Because we can't deny that election violence that happened during election can happen when people are agitated. Like say, oh, I've been here since morning, I'm not voting, I'm not allowed to vote. You are disenfranchised. Before you know it, any little thing,
people can get triggered easily.
Yeah, people come in with a lot of anger. They are angry about the country. Just little trigger like this, violence will start happening, and some of them are already looking for where to pour their anger. So the INEC is supposed to ensure that they allow a very seamless system. And I know that they cannot solve all the problems, but at least they can reduce the stress. Like for instance, imagine most of the polling units, there is no place to sit down.
Yes, you have to stand.
So that means before they get captured, you are spending like 3 hours under the sun. I don't know whether it's going to rain. We are in the rainy season, it's raining. Some places the weather is cold. And if it's not that you are determined to cast your vote, those are discouraging factors. So INEC need to solve this issue of unavailability of enough beavers at those polling units. We can't continue. There is enough budget. Budgets are being allocated every time, and I can assure you that everything that INEC asks for, they usually get.
All right, let's quickly go back to Israel Olatunji, the founder of ChatVE. Israel, are you there?
So I think the security personnel vehicle is the one jamming my network. So it kicked me out twice already, so I can confirm that's the situation.
Okay, it's understandable on days like this. Let me quickly ask you this now, Israel. You mentioned something about some persons who have been standing for a long time, and due to the fact that there's only one beavers machine where you're at now, at the end of the day, they might want to say that, look here, I'm not sure I'm going to be up for this at the end of the day now, because if you check the time now, it's just a few minutes before 2 p.m. Now, let's talk about violence. How has it been in places that you've visited? Are you to tell us whether or not any form of violence has erupted so far, just as we're hearing from different centers?
No any form of violence so far or disruption of election processes. So, and if you can see my feet, you can see how long this queue is. And there are still some people sitting, trying to avoid the sun. So by 2:30, they are going to take a number and peg it to the last number. So that means no new person coming in will be able to join the queue once it is 2:30. Then they can now proceed with the voting activity. So, like I mentioned earlier, by 2:30, look at this line. I mean, election voting, or let me say voting, might still be on till let's say 4-5 p.m. this evening.
Yeah, Tunji, can we piggyback a bit to the pre-election? And I know you stay in Osun and be monitoring the pre-election issues. Do you think that the pre-election violence and threat and all that we are going on with the ruling party in Osun and the ruling party at the national level, do you think it is going to affect, or do you think it has any impact in the performance of the election today?
So so far for pre-election incidents, the aim of such is just to intimidate people to come out in their numbers to exercise their civic responsibility. And it is not new what we've been seeing so far in previous elections. So this is also not a new case. Osun is not different from what we've known so far.
All right.
So,
Olatunji, sorry to cut you there. Please, we'd like to speak with our correspondent who is currently live in Osogbo, Segun Oluwole, who will be talking to us and giving us the real-time update from where he is now. Segun, welcome back.
Welcome back, Segun.
Segun Oluwole. Okay, while we wait to get back to Segun, of course, we know that Segun is a moving man. The last time we spoke to us, I was right here in Elisha, and now he's in Osogbo. We like to get updates from him from his location now. But yeah, we were having a conversation with Israel Olatunji, and then talking about the pre-election. We don't want to call it threats now, but some rates that came out from different quarters, and even it's not just okay. Do we still have Israel there?
No, I think it's Segun.
Okay, Segun. Where are you right now? What location are you? And what is the atmosphere like that?
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Okay. The last time I told you I was going to Oshogo, right? So I had to
Yes,
wait.
yes.
Yes, I had to wait at a nearby community known as Osun Jella. Yes, because there was
Okay.
issue of important issue of violence. Then I went there
Okay.
to do an underground verification. So and I was
Okay.
able to gather
Shegun,
from.
try to auto-rotate your phone while you speak with us. Please auto-rotate your phone. All right, you can
Can you
continue
hear me
now.
now?
Yeah,
Yes,
continue
let's
now.
continue.
Okay, good. So I was told that there was an issue of violence here this morning. So I came here to check and also speak to the voters. So they told me that immediately they started the election today, some party agents came to intimidate other party agents. Actually, they mentioned name of the
Second, please, could
parties.
you still auto-rotate your phone?
Is it okay like this?
No, just turn on your auto-rotate. Swipe the phone and turn on your auto-rotate.
Hello, can you hear me? Is it okay now?
Yeah, we are good now. We are good now. Continue. Continue.
Okay, I'm sorry for the distress. So
It's fine.
the party agents told me that he was bullied by and was even attacked. In fact, he showed me bruises and in fact injured head by another party agent. So after the attack, they tried to intimidate other party members from voting. So and that is what actually caused the delay here. You could see a large number of people on the queue, and this is 2 p.m. See people here, see people waiting. They are expecting to vote, you know. So now, problem they are facing this full unity is the issue of the INEC officials. The people explained that the INEC officials they are not many, in proportionate with the number of voters registered. Yes, they even said that it's only one of them that is attending to the voters. So just tell me if one person is attending to these people, that means by 7 p.m. they may even be here. So another issue that I notice is let me even move closer to that place if they could allow me. It is the fact that there is no privacy. Yes, you could see people are very close to the
polling booth.
To the polling booth. So now, for example, I spoke to some of the electorate and they told me that there are influences on their choices. If for one example, before you get your paper and you have been told that maybe you should vote for APC or PDP or LP, and you reach the place to cast your vote, you don't have the privacy to make decisions. So I spoke to not less than 4 people who told me that though they wanted to vote for a particular party, but because the party agents, you know, they have actually exchanged hand before they got there, so they would, by conscience, they would be influenced to vote for the person so that to avoid being attacked. Because they told me that previous incidents here, I mean, during the past elections, whenever someone collected money here and failed to deliver, they will go to that person's house and they will attack him or her. In fact, I captured this thing online on camera. They told me that some of them voted out of fear. They don't want to vote for a particular candidate, but because the party agent who promised them money or who has given them money was seeing them, could see them when they, for example, when he was standing, he was very close to the polling booth. So if, for example, the person paid them to vote for Accord or APC and they went ahead to vote for ADC, they will be in trouble. So they had to know that option than to vote for the choices of the person that paid them or promised to pay them money. You understand? None of them agree that they have collected money, but from their behavior, it's shown that there's a high vote buying here in this region. So I believe this following unit moving back to the state capital just to see what is happening, because I believe that this election it may even go beyond what we expected. We are all hoping that they should not declare any of these polling inconclusive, because you could see there are a lot of people. All these people have not voted. All of them have not voted, and this is PPM. So let's see what goes on. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
In the words of Shegun Oluwole right now, who is currently moving around some parts of Osun State, he just allowed us to see the situation report of the particular location, and he's saying that it is in his own prayer now that particular some places are not going to be declared inconclusive. Because number one, there's a huge voters turnout, and then another thing is the fact that the Beavers machine is not working properly, and also complain about the fact that there is no secrecy in the voting process and what have you. Right now, I will definitely move away from Shegun 7, because we now have Mojeed Alabi, who is also joined us. Don't forget, Mojeed is the editor-in-chief of Dev Report NG, who is also live from Osun State. Good afternoon to you, Mojeed.
Good afternoon to you, Mojeed.
Good afternoon to you.
It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, where you are currently, give us a general idea of what the election has been so far.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is Ilobu, the headquarters of the Rekpodun local government near Osogbo. This is, as you can see, this polling unit is polling unit 07, Barra Ward 5. And I think the process has been on and has been very, very effective so far. I think they are rounding off currently. I think it is 2 o'clock. It is after 2 o'clock now. And those who are on the queue have been asked. I don't know whether you can see the background clearly here.
Yeah, yes.
It has been going on very peacefully, and people have conducted themselves in a very orderly manner. The security people are also here. You have men of Nigerian police. You also have the civil defense and road safety who have been maintaining some kind of peace here. And I think everybody has actually operated. This is, I think they are rounding off gradually here. Hopefully in the next couple of minutes, the next 30 or 40 minutes, they will have to do the sorting and possibly do the counting. So it's been very peaceful. The same thing across other major polling units in the community. Ilobu is very significant to the conduct of the elections in Osun because it's one of the, and in fact, I realized that the police officers drafted here, they're about 600, and that's the highest to any local government in the state. So as you can see, that people are just working freely and everything has been very seamless. Other polling units that are also near, we can walk there to actually see how people are coping. But I know that their beavers has worked very clearly here, and people are cooperated and they have exercised their civic responsibility. No violence, no noise, no agitation. Everything has been orderly. There are also electors who have been doing their work peacefully. And one of them is also just coming that I could meet on the road. Is Ramat Adeola. If you will be willing, you can also hear from her how the process has been going on. So
all right,
a whole lot of them. So she's here. She's also from the EU, reporting to EU IPC situation room. So she's here in the record room. See what
you can do well to pass the phone to possibly we get to feel our pulse too.
Okay, so they want to do this is SaharaTV live, and they want how much you have. So you just introduce yourself and let the public know what's happening.
All right, good afternoon to you, Ramat.
Yes. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Can you introduce yourself to us and what?
My name is Alabi Ramat Adiola, working with Simeso.
Okay.
Yes, I'm working with Simeso as a media observant.
Okay. Quickly, Ramat, let's hear from you. Based on your observation so far, is this election meeting the standards of a free, fair, and credible election?
Everywhere is going fair. Everywhere is going good. There is free and fair. There is no intimidation. There is nothing of violence or thereabouts. The atmosphere is good. The situation is good.
But then, have you been able to possibly, see some form of concern so far? If not from the polling unit that you are in now, possibly from other polling units?
I can hear you.
So I'm asking if you've been able to single out any concern so far, if not from the polling unit that you are in, possibly from other polling units. All right, we're trying to establish.
I think it's a difficulty with network.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So I was trying to ask her if she's been able to, single out any concern so far in the election, if not from that polling unit, possibly from other polling units.
I think so far, because I have actually also worked around, and we are hoping to head
to the state capital very soon.
Okay.
I think all the polling units here, things have actually gone on very fine. We have been to a particular polling unit where their beavers did not work for quite some time, and after fixing it, so it had a lot of people who had to, so much on the queue. And I think over the time, they were able to adjust, and it's been on very peacefully. There are also party leaders across some polling units, across the community, and especially, there is also a challenge in this local government, especially in Osun, over the local government control. There are 2 chairmen across each of the 30 local government laying claim to the leadership of the local government. So when you have such a situation, when you have such a situation, it is so different political parties are laying claim to the leadership of the local government. But here is another.
That seems to be quite interesting, Mojid. 2 different parties laying claim to having the seat of the chairmanship of the local. Don't you think that this is also going to be some form of major concern? Like people definitely factionalized even before the election process.
So the problem has been that if you have followed the trend in Osun State within the last 1 year or thereabout, you will notice that the control of the local government system has been very problematic. And what is the problem? The fact that there was a judgment of the appeal court in 2025 February, which actually gave ruling that the people, I think you can see this polling unit, people, it's orderly. You can see that people are on queue and there is no problem.
Orderly, but we still have a large number of persons who are on that queue. And are we sure that they are going to be able to exercise their franchise before the end of the day?
Because they are on queue already, they may not be able to entertain new people coming in. But for those who are on queue, I think the Electoral Act permits them that they should be allowed to take to vote.
Yes.
So that's what is happening.
Okay.
So, and I think they are already here. They will have counted them, and they will give them. They will have given them the opportunity to exercise their civic responsibility. So,
okay, Mojid, now you said some of the polling units that you have visited are quite peaceful, but we are getting reports now that Senator Fadonsi has brazenly told APC supporters to monitor voters at units, saying that non-supporters must be dealt with. What is your reaction to this?
We need to correct one impression. Ijesha land has always been very, very hot. It is not just today. And there are so many factors. There are 3 major factors contributing to that. And I'm going to explain. In 2007, when Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola contested against it was hotter than this. And why was it hotter than this?
Mojid, we are trying to establish communication with you. Please, we'd like you to hold on while our producers try to figure that out. But yes, just like my co-host mentioned, the Senator Fadonsi has brazenly told APC supporters to monitor voters at units, and he says non-supporters must be dealt with. I think we for our audience to also see it.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Ẹ máa wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. Lórí oko. Títí bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan sọ pé ẹ wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. Ẹ tó bá ti tẹ nǹkan tí ó yẹ kó tẹ̀ ní láṣẹ. Kì í sọ ọmọ ìjọba. Lórí oko. Ìgbà wo? Wà lórí ẹ̀. Wà lórí ẹ̀ yìí. Ẹyẹ mọ́ wà lórí ẹ̀. Ẹ máa wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. Lórí oko. Títí bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan sọ pé ẹ wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. Ẹ tó bá ti tẹ nǹkan tí ó yẹ kó tẹ̀ ní láṣẹ. Kì í sọ ọmọ ìjọba. Lórí oko. Ìgbà wo? Wà lórí ẹ̀. Wà lórí ẹ̀ yìí. Ẹyẹ mọ́ wà lórí ẹ̀.
Right. Thank you, Mojid. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Yeah, I mean, you've been talking about Ijeshaland being a very, odd space when it comes to the election process in Osun State. And just like we've rightly pulled up the video of Senator Fadansi, we brazenly, mentioned to APC supporters in every unit to make sure that non-supporters are being dealt with. I know that you've been trying to establish the context as to which made the senator to say this. But do you think that in a period like this, don't you think that this can incite electoral violence on its own? Mojid, are you there?
Irresponsible. It is irresponsible of anyone. Whether, in fact, it is worse when a lawmaker who publicly declare war on citizens.
We're definitely struggling to hear you, Mojid. Possibly if you get to a better connection.
And that cannot supported in any. The violence that you see in Osun today.
No, I think we are having a bit of network issues there. But we have been talking about the recent report that just arrived, how Senator Fadansi, I mean, he's telling APC supporters that they would be dealt with. I mean, looking at this now, he is telling that anybody that doesn't support their group will be dealt with. Why is this happening at this point?
Akende, would like to bring you in on this particular conversation.
Well, it's really concerning, and because these are repeated issues that happen, and I'll still cite the 2020 election. Some people came out on social media and say, if you are not coming out to vote for this party, the videos are still live on social media for anybody to verify that if you are not coming out for this to vote for this party, you should not come out. This is exactly the same thing. And it is an audacity that people have and think that they can threaten citizens like themselves. Because they hold one political position or because they are in the faction of the ruling party, they have, some of them even have police attached to them. I mean, police that are not able to secure people that have been trafficked or people that have been kidnapped. Some of them have military men attached to them, attacking same citizens like them, saying that if they come out to vote, I'm not surprised that a sitting senator is putting out that kind of threat. And I also want to make a comment on one of the input that we got live about secret voting. And it's really challenging. And because I personally participated in election, it's not we are not talking about what we have read in books. It's concerning that even though we say we practice secret voting, people with it. Why should party agents be allowed to come near where people are casting their votes? And people are right to say they are afraid to cast votes from their conscience.
The candidate of their choice.
Look at what they said. If they dare try to vote for another candidate, they'll be dealt with. So it's a serious one. And we have seen it happen even at some polling units. During the last election, that they do not wait for you to even get to your house. You'll be dealt with there. So why we should enforce, we have on paper that according to our electoral regulation, there should be secret voting. But why are people allowed to come near that parameter of voting?
And I think that just like Riley mentioned, this also has to do with the security architecture that we have in those, polling units and those election places. Because if there's a police officer attached to that particular place. I'm not sure agents should be able to influence it. But then, if you flip it back again, we've also had situations where the policemen are the ones that have told some of the electorates today that if you do not set us to do something like this, something like this is not going to be done in this particular location. So it brings to the fore again, it brings to the, the question once again that is INEC really able to organize or put together an free election where the citizens will say that this is free, fair, and credible? Because if you say that if you put 10 polling units together, I can tell you that we have like 8 or 10 of them where you definitely say that something did not happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Exactly, and I piggyback to the even about security. What happened in all cycles in election that they practically moved the security force from other states.
Yes.
So, but what will happen in a general election? That means that the very major deficiency of security force, because where are you going to move people from when an election is happening simultaneously all over the country?
Okay, and just to go back to what Segun Oluwole said at the polling unit where he was there, he said only one INEC official was addressing the voters there. And what does this say about the preparations of INEC?
So that is also a concerning, because I think I have the opportunity to recruit enough staff.
We know they do this ad hoc staff.
The ad hoc staff, they publicize it and all that. So it's not a lack of enough of staff. It's not a lack of, I'm very sure, it's also not a lack of enough funds to pay them. So maybe the INEC, you have to explain to us why we don't have enough beavers. And this is just a state election. And we're having issues with having enough beavers at a polling unit. What if we now have a national election happening simultaneously? We are seeing deficiency of staff and deficiency of the technology that will ensure credibility of the election.
It also, like, as INEC do have a lot of questions to answer to after this particular election, because just so you rightly mentioned at the start of the show, this is more like a preparatory, litmus test into what is going to happen in 2027. And if by now the words that are coming in from the beavers are just like I jokingly said to Martin the other time, that Nigeria will always find a way. As I say, if you take your picture from the front, it's not working, you flip it to the back. I mean, does it really have to get to this point? And you also rightly mentioned that if the facial capture is where we're having the issue, why not just switch to where we do the biometric thumb printing? It makes it easy for every one of us. I mean, I know that at the point in time, that is what they normally use during the election process. You use your thumbprint. But if you are not doing that, and this is also causing a bit of delay, because when you're struggling with the beavers, it means that you have chunk of people that are waiting to get on just one beavers.
And beavers is the first stage.
Yes,
that's accreditation. The voting has to happen. So you're already spending a lot of time on accreditation. So that's how long are you going to spend on vote? That means I'm just to accredit you are spending a lot of time. So now we are going to cast another vote. And don't forget, in a general election, there are multiple voting that are happening. You are voting for governor, you are voting for that, you have to spend
a lot of assembly.
Now you are also voting in the state election. It's just the governor and the House of Assembly, the state House of Assembly. But in the normal voting, there are more people you need to vote for.
Yes. But definitely, we're still looking forward to see the development that will be coming through from Osun State. This is still Osun Decides. I will bring in the latest update coming through from the different polling units to the wards and also to the local government. About 332 wards right there. Talk about 30 local government area and over 3,007 polling units where the electorates are there, and they'll be looking to elect people who would be at the end, the person who will be at the ends of affairs in Osun State for the next 4 years. A big debate between all of the major political parties in that particular state. At 28, you mentioned the other time, 14 political parties. We know that we have the likes of the All Progressive Congress. There's also the African Action Congress. You have the likes of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. All of these parties are coming out to say who exactly is going to be taking charge of that state. A couple of updates that we are still monitoring right now. This particular update is coming through from Ward 8, polling unit 9 of the Osogbo local government. It's been said that voters are currently stranded. Security personnel struggle to coordinate crowd at the polling unit. Time check is 2:27 p.m. And this is currently happening. A woman right there that we have a visual says their party agents are beating opposition agents and are intimidating their voters. Let's take a look at the visuals coming through from that place. If our producers are able to pull that up for us, and if not, let's quickly talk about, voters are stranded at 2:27 because security personnel are struggling to coordinate
and
them.
mind you, the elections are supposed to end by 2:30.
2:30.
This is just 3 minutes.
Which brings us back to the talk about the beavers, talk about you first getting accredited. After you get accredited, then you now go back to queue again before you are able to exercise your franchise at the end of the day. And at this time, I'm sure that this person that have been tagged as voters are not accredited yet.
And that will lead to agitation. An environment that is already peaceful, you now see violence. Because you just need to trigger something like wildfire. And some people are already angry before they get to the polling unit. And they may, so the importance of ensuring that this thing works is that it gives credibility and trust. The moment people get to a polling unit and things are not working, you start seeing different thoughts. Any misinformation that comes in, they are trying to disenfranchise us in this polling unit. That is why this is not working.
And it spreads like wildfire.
And it may not be really that they are trying to disenfranchise. It may just be device not working. But they might say, because political process, election is a very sensitive time.
Very sensitive.
It can cause a lot of violence, and like what we have been seeing. So we have to be careful to ensure that all these little things that will trigger unnecessary violence are taken care of.
All right. Well, we still have Kende Adegboyega with us in the studio this afternoon, and it's still Osun Decides, where we're taking a look at the current happenings right there in the state of Osun for this off-cycle election, where they're looking to bring in a new governor for their state. Miracle.
I mean, just like we've been deliberating, we'll be talking about the recent reports that we've been getting from our correspondents there and from different people who are there on the ground in Osun State, moving from one polling unit. I mean, we've gotten some report that so far so good. There's been no violence at some polling units, but that's not the same story at other polling units. But we are still talking about how BVS has not been functioning. We're still talking about how some voters are still on the queue, but they haven't even done the accreditation, let alone voting, and let alone for the results to be uploaded through IREM. More of those updates we will be getting, and we will go on a short break now. When we come back, we have more updates that we would be unpacking. We are still talking about Osun Decides 2026, where the people of Osun State will gather and pick who they want to rule them for the next 4 years. So stay with us as we go on the short break.
What happened?
So since morning we've been here. When we first came, we were asked for so we thought they would be following the law, but now reverse is the case.
So
what? In fact, we don't know whether we have the assurance of voting today, because if it should continue this way, I don't think that will be possible.
Okay, so what do you want INEC to do?
In fact, we need more security.
So when we come back, we're just talking.
Because those ones are even around, so they'll be trying their best by staying free. Their best is not.
Are you thinking that is maybe any kind of foreplay, maybe vote buying, or something? Yeah.
I can't understand.
Do you? What I mean is that do you think there's any kind of gimmick here? Maybe there is vote buying. That's why they stop people not to.
Let me say, it seems
Okay, how long is this break lasting for? Are we going back?
All right, thank you, ma'am.
So are we going back now?
My name is Arisa Oluwashemilore. I'm a first-time voter. So being a first-time voter, coming here seeing all this like no orderliness, it's really discouraging. Nigerian youths being that are first-time voters, do not like to participate in voting process because of things like this, no orderliness, like long queue, violence, and all that. And there are people that are partaking in, I can't say it's like, I don't know how to put it, maybe election bribery and stuff like that, collecting money, vote buying, collecting money to vote and all that stuff. So it's not really encouraging. It doesn't encourage the voting process of free and fair election. So all that, and I would like to tell the youth not to partake in stuff like that, because if you buy vote and other stuff, it will actually, like the results, maybe the candidates you want to enter, like if another candidate enter, like it will affect everybody. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's what I have to say.
Can you explain which word are we units?
This is Ilesha garage area, and we have been here since morning. Before they were using number, now they are not using number anymore. Everywhere is crowded, as you can see. Now, and people that have not voted, they are much more than those people that have voted. That's why we beckon to you, please, come to our head. If there's anything government can do, they should come and do it, so that we can live here on time.
Is the beavers working?
What do you say?
The beavers, is it working?
The beavers is working, but just that it is not organized. Even there is a security personnel there. They shout and nobody is listening to him.
Okay, so what do you want the INEC to do?
If there is anything, government can help us with you so that we can live here. If not, this is after 2 and the time.
You have been here since when?
What?
You have been here since when? What time are you?
I've been here since 8 o'clock. I came here at 8 o'clock and look at this. This is 12, this is past 2. I've not voted.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So life line ṣe ìbò ń lọ wọ́ọ́rọ́wọ́ ní àtìlẹ́wọ́ tìrìtìrì àní pọ́blẹ́mù kankan Amos Kìlá náà lórúkọ mi pátí ẹ̀jẹ̀ tí APC à ń dìbò lálàáfíà.
It's Victor. Can you explain which ward are we units?
This is Ilesha garage area. And we are here since morning. Before they were using number. Now they are not using number anymore. Everywhere is crowded, as you can see. Now, people that have not voted, they are much more than those people that have voted. That's why we beckon to you. Please, come to our head. If there's anything government can do, they should come and do it. So that we can live here on time.
Is the beavers working?
What do you say?
The beavers, is it working?
The beavers is working, but just that it is not organized. Even the security personnel there, they shout, nobody is listening to him.
Okay, so what do you want the INEC to do?
If there is anything, government can help us with it so that we can live here. If not, this is after 2 and the time.
You have been here since when?
What?
You have been here since when? What time are you?
I've been here since 8 o'clock. I came here at 8 o'clock and look at this. This is 12, this past 2. I've not voted.
As the people were complaining about the slow of the network of beavers, what can you say about it?
I think it is deplorable to experience that the beavers is the beavers is very bad in the polling booth where the governor is voting. Here we have a crowd like this, which is not common in Osun State. As you can observe, you can see yourself. I doubt the credibility of INEC. It is deplorable.
You say due to the fact that the governor came from this side, that is why the
not because the governor come inside. This polling booth is always like this. I'm from this compound. This is my home. This is my compound, and this is where I used to vote. I come specially for this election from Ivory Coast, where I experience of what they are calling vote, comparing to what I'm seeing. I always to see in Nigeria.
So, is there anything of like intimidation or anything?
There is nothing like intimidation. I can assure you that there can never be something like intimidation here in Inabugunde.
So, what is your advice to the INEC?
I think the INEC have to be fair and have the well-trained personalities, and even check well their devices that they are using, the materials that they are using, which is very important. It is very important for the beavers to be just be like that in a polling booth where the crowd is like this.
Okay, what's
nígbà tí a dé bí ní àárọ̀ àwọn pátì méjì ló active dáadáa níbi bí pátì àkọ́kọ́ ó ní kí pátì kejì pé wọn ò lè lọ́fẹ́ láti dìbò wọ́n dẹ̀ ná pátì agent pátì kejì yẹn wọ́n ná gan wọ́n kọ́ àwọn fòkùtà wọn lórí ó wá lọ sí wọ́ọ̀dù ìgbà tó wá dé wọ́ọ̀dù wọ́n ní káwọn wá pọ̀ ọlọ́pàá àwọn ọlọ́pàá wá tẹ̀lé pátì kejì yẹn wọ́n tẹ̀lé wá ìgbà táwọn ọlọ́pàá tó tẹ̀lé wá wọ́n wá lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn pátì àkọ́kọ́ yẹn wọ́n lọ bá wọn nílé láàfin wọn wọ́n wá sẹ́tù ẹ̀ ìgbà tó wọ́n sẹ́tù ẹ̀ tán wọ́n wá ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá ní pé kí pátì kejì yẹn ká ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá máa dìbò bọ̀ látìgbà tá a ti wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ bù báyìí nísìnyí pátì àkọ́kọ́ tó ná yẹn yẹn àwọn náà fi síwájú àwọn náà ń dìbò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí látàárọ̀ pátì APC ni àwọn náà ń dìbò báyìí gbogbo ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ àkọ́dù tó fẹ́ dìbò ẹ̀yìn náà fi sí àwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ àkóra wọn wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ takò àkọ́dù wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ favour APC níbí tí mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ sí owó tọ́lẹ̀ ní kí wọ́n fáwọn ọlọ́pàá wọn ti gbà tiwọn but despite that iṣẹ́ tó ṣe níbi bílẹ̀ ní ẹ̀zẹ́rò ni wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ takò wá.
ẹ máa wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. lórí oko. títí bóyá nìkan sọ pé ẹ wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. ẹ tó bá ti tẹ nǹkan tí ó yẹ kó tẹ̀ nǹkan ṣe kì í sọ fún mi. lórí oko gbàwó. wà lórí ẹ̀yìn. ẹ̀yẹ mọ́ wà lórí ẹ̀yìn. orúkọ mi ni ọlánìyàn dàda tọ̀sí tí mo jẹ́ ìfẹ́ nínú ara wọn tí ó fẹ́ dìbò ní alájọba wọn fún ọdún 6. So àwọn bíbá tí wọ́n fún wa ó sùn díẹ̀ fásitì dáadáa. Àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan sọjú wọn lẹ̀ tí ò gbójú wọn tó bá tó wá yá aláwàṣẹ wá gbà padà.
Ǹjẹ́ kò sí mọ̀wúrú kankan ní ìbáyà?
Kò sí mọ̀wúrú ọjà wọn.
Ní tó kàn ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé ó slow. Kí lẹ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC?
Ṣé o dákọ̀ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC pé kí wọ́n jọ wọ́n dàpọ̀ àwọn ìyá ọjọ́ ẹni darúgbó tàbí àwọn tí wò mọ ibi tí wọ́n ní fẹ́ẹ́ tẹ̀ka sí kí wọ́n máa gba láì tí wọ́n bá ti jọ pé òkè ẹni báyìí o dàbí ní kọ́ bá jọ ọmọ mi ni o àbúrò mi ni mo mú wá wọ́n yìí kí wọ́n máa gbà láìjẹ́ kí wọ́n máa.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kí lórúkọ yín?
Orúkọ mi ni Ọlánìyàn Dàda Fàfí Ọ̀dàlájẹ wa.
Tí ìbò tá à ń dì tó wà fún pọ̀ jù síjà kò sí jàgídíjàgan tá a bá dìbò tán rọ̀lẹ́ tó bá gbé jàgídíjàgan orí ẹ̀ ló takò àwọn Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá APC àkọọdù kí n mọ orúkọ wọn tèmi. Rárá o mo wá o.
Bọ̀ ẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé.
Mi ò wá o nígbà tó ṣe pé onígbàálẹ̀ ni mò ń ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mi ò rẹ́ni wá bá mi ṣẹ̀kọ́ yàrá méjì síbẹ̀ yẹn.
Bọ̀ ẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n tó ń fààyàn lówó àbí.
Mo gbọ́ o.
Bí èlò ni.
10,000.
Ìwọ náà pàṣẹ ayé onígbàálẹ̀ àbí.
Mi ò mọ̀ onígbàálẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀ pé tó bá so pé mo fọwọ́ mi màá mọ̀ fọwọ́ mi ni tí ò sọwọ́ mi ni òkè ṣe. Tó bá dì tó bá fún mi màá gbà. Gbogbo ni ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ tèmi náà ó ṣe irú ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ọlọ́run dáhùn mu wa kẹ́yìn náà gòkè káwọn ọmọ wa náà gòkè torí àwa tí ń da fúrì lọ báyìí.
My name is Saka Sekinat Osun. This is my first time, no, not my first time of voting. I've been here for hours, for more than 6 good hours. When it's now my turn to go, they are now asking me to remove my hair before I'll be able to, before they can take my capturing, and that's not possible. It's not possible. Even when I took the capturing for my hair, this is the way I did it. So why must you ask me to remove my hair? This is my personal right now. It's my civic right to vote. So how can you avoid me from taking my civic right? That I must remove my hair. This is my religion, and I have right to my religion.
So you're saying they want you to remove your hijab?
They said I have to remove my hair, bring out my hair before they can take the capturing, and it's not done. I can never do it.
Tí ìbò tá à ń dì tó wà fún pọ̀ jù síjà kò sí jàgídíjàgan tá a bá dìbò tán rọ̀lẹ́ tó bá gbé jàgídíjàgan orí ẹ̀ ló takò. Àwọn Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá APC àkọọdù kí n mọ orúkọ wọn tèmi. Rárá o mo wá o.
Bọ̀ ẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé.
Mi ò wá o nígbà tó ṣe pé onígbàálẹ̀ ni mò ń ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mi ò rẹ́ni wá bá mi ṣẹ̀kọ́ yàrá méjì síbẹ̀ yẹn.
Bọ̀ ẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n tó ń fààyàn lówó àbí.
Mo gbọ́ o.
Bí èlò ni.
10,000.
Ìwọ náà pàṣẹ ayé onígbàálẹ̀ àbí.
Mi ò mọ̀ onígbàálẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀ pé tó bá so pé mo fọwọ́ mi màá mọ̀ fọwọ́ mi ni tí ò sọwọ́ mi ni òkè ṣe. Tó bá dì tó bá fún mi màá gbà. Gbogbo ni ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ tèmi náà ó ṣe irú ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ọlọ́run dáhùn mu wa kẹ́yìn náà gòkè káwọn ọmọ wa náà gòkè torí àwa tí ń da fúrì lọ báyìí oúnjẹ ọmọ ló kù Ọlọ́run jẹ́ ajẹ́ lájọ mọ́nú.
Tó bá dìbò tó bá fún yẹn gbà.
Ń gbà o ọlọ́run ó jẹ o.
My name is
What can you explain about what is happening?
Yeah, what I observed over the time that I've been here is that the numbers of accredited voters in this polling unit is too much compared to the gadgets and the resources that are available and the personnel, INEC personnel that are available. We have been here for over 6 or 7 hours now. You notice that the lines are not moving. It's totally not moving. Of which other units, polling units, they are done by now. So obviously we are looking for if the numbers of accredited voters here will still remain the same, then there should be more resources, more INEC officials, and more gadgets to capture and to relieve people from their pain. Actually, I've been for over 20 hours now. Nothing is working here. Nothing there. stress. They said it is stress-free. We have been here under the sun, under the, the stress is just too much for us.
Yeah, I can see some security were, chasing some people out. What can we talk about?
The security are actually trying, but movements are difficult to control. So the numbers of the voters here is compared to way more than the available personnel, like I said. So they are unable to, coordinate the line. So the lines are not well coordinated. Though they are trying their best, the officials are trying their best, the lines are not properly coordinated.
What about the beavers? Is it working perfectly?
The beavers is working, but it is slow. It is slow, very slow. And that's why I said we need more resources. In a polling unit like this, there should be more than 2 units where people can vote, can vote. There should be at least 2 to 3 beavers machines working here.
So it's only one.
It's only one that is here, so it's totally uncalled for.
Once again, what is the name?
My name is Tolu Lokagumade.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
This year, last year, I can't remember the 70th. Felt excited, but still nervous at the same time because all these election stuff like that and the news I heard about it, so and violence every single time, so all these stuff like I don't know how to put it, but it's something that everybody knows about. This is the first time that it's my grandma. Surely she will have me.
So where are you voting for?
No, I can't see.
Okay. My name is Aresa Oluwashemilore. I'm a first-time voter. So being a first-time voter, coming here seeing all this like no other illness, it's really discouraging to Nigerian youth. Like Nigerian youth being here that are first-time voters do not like to participate in voting process because of things like this, no other illness, like long queue, violence and all that. And there are people that are partaking in, I can't say it's like, I don't know how to put it, maybe election bribery and stuff like that, collecting money, vote buying, collecting money to vote and all that stuff. So it's not really encouraging. It doesn't encourage the voting process of free and fair election. So all that, and I would like to tell the youth not to partake in stuff like that, because if you buy vote and other stuff, it will actually, like the results, maybe the candidates you want to enter, like if another candidate enter, like it will affect everybody. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's what I have to say. I'm 19.
What's your name?
Elizabeth.
What happened?
So since morning we've been here. When we first came, we were asked for so we thought they would be following the number, but now reverse is the case.
So
and we don't know whether we have the assurance of voting today, because if it should continue this way, I don't think that will be possible.
Okay, so what do you want INEC to do? What is security?
In fact, we need more security people, because those ones are even around, so they have been trying their best, but it seems their best is not.
Are you thinking that is maybe any kind of foreplay, maybe vote buying or something? Yeah.
I can't understand.
What I mean is that, do you think there is any kind of gimmick here? Maybe there is vote buying. That is why they stop people not to.
Let me say, it seems.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
orúkọ mi ni ọlálẹ́yẹ dàdàtọ̀ tí mo jẹ́ ìfẹ́ nínú ara wọn tí ó fẹ́ dìbò ní alájọba wọn fún ọdún 6. So àwọn bíbá tí wọ́n fún wa díẹ̀ fásitì dáadáa àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan ìsọjú wọn lẹ̀ tí ò gbójú wọn tó bá tó wá yá tó wá sì wá gbà padà.
Ǹjẹ́ kò sí mọ̀wúrú kankan ní ìbáyà rí?
Kò sí mọ̀wúrú ọjà wọn.
Ní tó kàn ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé ó slow. Kí lẹ fẹ́ sọ fún INEC?
Ṣé o dákà fẹ́ sọ fún INEC pé kí wọ́n jọ wọ́n dàpọ̀ àwọn ìyá wa tẹ́ni darúgbó tàbí àwọn tí wò mọ ibi tí wọ́n ní bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ̀ka sí kí wọ́n máa gba aláìsí wọn bá ti jọ pé òkè ẹni báyìí o dàbí ní kọ́ bá tẹ ọmọ mi ni o àbúrò mi ni mo mú wá o wọ́n yìí kọ́ bá gbà láìjẹ́ kí wọ́n máa.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kí lórúkọ yín?
Orúkọ mi ni Ọlánìyàn Dàda Fàtí alájẹ wa.
Okay, they are there already. You be the one who get that. I think that was what came.
Pátì wo? Ẹ̀yin màṣílò.
Ẹ máa wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. Lórí oko. Títí bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan sọ pé ẹ wo ibi tí kálukú bá tẹ̀. Ẹ tó bá ti tẹ nǹkan tí ó yẹ kó tẹ̀ ní aṣọ kì í sọ fún mi. Lórí oko ìgbàwó wà lórí ẹ̀ wà lórí ẹ̀ yìí. Èyí ẹ̀ mọ́ wà lórí ẹ̀.
Àròyé ẹsẹ̀ ilé.
Ilé wa fẹ́ kọ́ ṣe fún yín. Kí ni ó dé aago mélòó lẹ ti dé bí báyìí?
Aago mẹ́fà mo ti dé bí.
Kí ló wá dé tí wọ́n dá yín lò?
Wọ́n ọ̀dà lónìí àní alára jẹ́ àwàmí ọ̀dà wò.
Kí la fẹ́ kọ́ ṣe fún yín?
Tí wọ́n dá lónìí náà ní. Wọ́n dá lónìí náà ní. Òtítà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe kí wọ́n dá lónìí náà ní.
Can you explain what happened? Why were you delayed here?
We came here to cast our vote.
What time? What time?
We were here around 7:20. And the protocol of the election, the elderly should be first of all allowed to be cast their vote before anybody else. To our own surprise, nobody has ever come here to attend to us. So we are